let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one. So what it's gonna be? Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Is you riding on a team? I got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I hit the town, you should lie on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all love. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love.
NationIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, close fists, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info about it? Hey, yo, John will be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Today, man. Good morning to you. I need to put on a shirt. I'm not joking about this one bit. Good morning to you. I got a little t-shirt on, but this ain't getting it. Good morning to you. Good morning. Let's get started. A new era in Cincinnati politics has begun. Kicked off yesterday when you had the swearing in of a new city council, whole new folks. Well, 8 new folks and Greg Landsman, who was reelected, along with a new mayor, Aftab Pureval. I got a chance to go down to the swearing in event. It's not my first time being at a swearing in event, and I don't know. I mean, some people might say it's boring. It depends on, what your connection is. Like if you're connected to one of the candidates, that shit is exciting as hell because you know somebody that's about to be on council or the new mayor. So that's exciting. But if you're a political type like me, then you'll probably find it interesting as well. But I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. I've been following this and following these group of individuals since many of them. In fact, we had like the record amount of people who had ever decided they were going to run for city council who ran, and they got whittled down to 9. So it was interesting to me to see some of the consistencies or inconsistencies from the candidates. From candidates to now, boom, they are your new council members. Very excited about that. Now, coming up today at 9 a.m., we are scheduled to get a Zoom style call from the new mayor of Cincinnati, Aftab Pureval, and I've got numerous questions prepared for him. But as always, you can add to the conversation if you would like to do so. I think the best way to do it will be like when he gets on the air, when he's actually here, then I can pay more attention to the chat, or you can hit me with direct message at this point. Like if you're not going to be here or you're afraid, I won't see your question, then shoot it to me right now in as a direct message on Facebook, if we're Facebook friends, or Twitter or Instagram, and then I'll take a look at it, and we may use your question this morning. But a new era in Cincinnati politics has begun. We got 4 new school board members, and there's already controversy. Yesterday, when I was at the swearing in event, I ran into the new school board president, Ben Lindy, which was so ironic because we were talking about him, and I told you I reach out to him. So I asked him if he'd come on the show. He said he'd love to come on the show. So I'm gonna see if he's available to come on this week, because things are really hot right now with the CPS school board and COVID once again. So we'll see if we can get Ben Lindy on sometime either tomorrow or Friday and get a sense of what's happening and what's his direction and things like that. What was notable yesterday as I was out and about? I mean, there were some things that were subtly noticeable, right? There were some things that are very subtly noticeable, just like in terms of some of the new council persons and the support that they have was very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of these council members in the future go on to other offices and things like that, which wouldn't be surprising whatsoever. But I think it was a very interesting day. It was over in the North Lawn of Washington Park. So south of course is closer toward the river, right, and north is going to be closer toward, I guess we'd say, UC, the University of Cincinnati. But it was interesting. I was glad I was there nonetheless. Got a chance to see a lot of folks, man, who I haven't seen in a minute, including Yvette Simpson. She was there. She swore in at least one of members of the new council members. I'll tell you who in a second. Yeah, it was great to see her. She's doing an excellent job on television. I love watching Yvette Simpson on television. She keeps it 100%. 100%. I loves it. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. 513-873-7134. So just to give you the lay of the land. So today we're scheduled to speak with Mayor-elect Aftab Pureval. Not even mayor, the new mayor. He was sworn in. It's done. And I think instantly we look better. You know what I'm saying? All the way around. You know, Aftab Pureval just gives a different, you just get a different feeling from him than you got from John Cranley. Just standing next to one another. It's night and day. So it'll be interesting. I've got a lot of questions, or some questions that are geared toward the future of Cincinnati. But again, I open the door for the choppers. If you want to get in on this with the new mayor, please feel free to do so. All right, just keep it respectful, because if it's some dumb shit, I'm not answering or asking those questions. So just make sure it's something that, it don't have to be something I agree with. You know what I'm saying? It could be you going hard. Fine, go hard, but let's make it make sense so we don't waste our time. All right, 513-873-7134. As always, there is more stuff to talk about than time that we have to talk about it in. We got more stuff to talk about. Yesterday, I ran into a CPS teacher who was not happy with the new school board, and this teacher, who happened to be a male, told me that he is concerned that the new school board will be even worse than the old school board. Not my words. I'm like, really? Why? And he was telling me some of the issues. I'm like, we shall see. So you know me, the most I can do is to give you some straight up superlative flows, and then reach out to these individuals so we can hear from them themselves. That's the most I can do for you, and I'm willing to do that. Speaking of which, I am aware there is at least one new school board member that went on social media and sort of like responded and was explaining, her decision. And I'm talking about Mary Weinberg. She wrote this 10 hours ago. And, the big controversy was that the interim superintendent recommended a plan. And I received like 2 or 3 messages between yesterday's show and today's show as a CPS parent asking me what my opinion is. And I'm grateful for that. Parents want to be involved. They definitely want to be involved, for sure. But she wrote this. I might screenshot this actually and let you check out what she had to say. And she talked about why she decided to vote the way she did. We'll unpack that later in the show. Very interesting. $513-873-7134. It's like, what are we waiting for, yo? Let's make it happen, Captain. Like I said, I don't spare nobody nothing. You want to be a leader during a pandemic, you get pandemic problems. It's what happens. It comes with the territory, but we want to be fair. And we want it to make sense. But I do have a few thoughts about what she posted, and I'll share with you in just a couple of minutes. 513-873-7134. There's a new era in Cincinnati politics, man. All those old folks that we just love, your old favorites, the classics, your Smitherman, gone. Gone. Seelbach, gone. Out of here. It's a wrap. Some of our favorites, man. We've been talking about these folks. These folks have been in the media for, it seems like, a decade as local representatives. And now we got all new everything minus Greg Landsman and Michelle Lemon-Kearney. And then Liz Keating. I'm going to reach out to Liz Keating because I'm very curious to see what her style is going to be. I'm very curious to see what that, that's mine, right? Yes. That's mine. Let me see. Yeah, that's me. That's mine right there. You want to show the people? Yeah, that's mine. You can leave it right there when you walk out. No. What you mean no? Huh? It's mine. No, it's not. And do not take my pendant to school. You gonna say good morning, man? You came and interrupt Daddy's flows because it's your show, right? No. Go! Get to the chopper! You done yet? Welcome to my life with a 6-year-old. Well, he's 7 now. He'll be 7 in what's that? The 5th? Shit, he'll be 7 in 11 days. He's 7 in less than 2 weeks. So I got a 7-year-old. I'm only 11 years away, y'all. Tracy, where you at? 11 years. 11 years. That's it. Oh, dear Lord. If you're an empty nester, I hate you. It's off the top. Brandy writes greetings. I hate all empty nesters because you got something I don't have, period. Dale writes, good morning, Nate in the Choppers. Go! Get to the chopper! Nate in the Choppers. But as I was saying, all new everything minus Greg Landsman. And it's just very interesting. It's really interesting. I'm going to say it again. I think that Scotty Johnson is going to end up being a really good city council person. He just seems consistent, at every media opportunity, even private conversations. The man keeps saying the same thing. We are going to do this. Hold us accountable. I'm going to hold us accountable. You keep hearing the same thing over and over again. And as I said before, you can say what you want about Scotty Johnson, but Scotty Johnson is a real man, meaning that he said what he said, period. Right? If you feel a certain way, that's how he feel, period. And we need that kind of unwavering backbone in some of these difficult decisions. So it'll be interesting to watch him. It really will be. One thing you get from this new council, and they keep talking about it, is their relationship between one another, that they like one another. And I'm like, why is that important? And maybe it is important in the sense that they'll be able to work together more successfully, and we'll see less finger pointing and nonsense and things like that. I'll be honest with you, man. That whole text messaging thing and the pointing fingers back and forth, and you was talking about my wife and all, it was the biggest colossal waste of fucking freaking time that we have ever seen. They wasted our time and our money and our energy going back and forth, arguing about stuff that nobody cared about except for them. Like, did nobody care about that? So we need a new, fresh start from city council. And I'm still optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I'll be asking the new mayor later on. He's scheduled to give us a call at 9 a.m. this morning. Among other things, what's the plan? What's the plan? What's first? What can we expect? And as Black Cincinnati voters, what can we expect? Jerome writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Jerome. Charles writes, grand risings, Nate and the Choppers. Deborah writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. David writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are digital pioneers in terms of Cincinnati. We were the first daily digital show that focuses on the Black community. That's our focus because, believe it or not, I'm a Black man. That's what my focus is. But of course, we talk about everything. There'll be others to follow us, and don't never let nobody act like they brand new with this. Let them know the chop shop was first. We are pioneers as we brave these uncharted waters called the 21st century together. And it is my pleasure to be with you. Pat writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Tracy writes, hi. Nikki writes, good morning, everyone. Kelly writes, good morning. Sayrod writes, Grand Risings family. Nat writes, good day, good hump day, choppers. Good hump day to you. Gladys writes, good morning, Nate and choppers. Glenn writes, good morning, Nate and choppers. Flo's ready to eat for everybody except Sean Hannity and Donald Trump. Really? Donald who? Sean who? Huh? Good morning, King Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Stacy writes, ask him about Black Male Coalition. It could help and save our Black males. Okay, so Black Male, what exactly am I asking, Stacy? What exactly am I asking? I'm down with the question. It sounds like something I'm down with, but what exactly am I asking? Let me screenshot this. I can't remember. Regina writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Regina. Grasson writes, Aftab looks better than PG for sure. And I'll be honest with you, I cannot lie. As I was sitting there, I did think about PG Sittenfeld. I did, because I just thought, like, damn, it's amazing how things can change so rapidly. You know what I'm saying? Things can change very rapidly in America. And I've learned that. I've learned that in a good way. It's all good, but I've learned that in good ways. You know what I'm saying? Your life in America can change like that. That's why people want to come to this country. That's what makes America what it is. Like, literally. Now, you might have to get lucky, but literally your life can change in a week. Whole new life in a week. And there was a time when PG Sittenfeld was the front runner, and it looked as if he was a front runner who was so far ahead that people weren't even thinking about even getting in the race. It's like, and he got this, right? And then we all know what happened with the federal charges and him stepping away from council, and then eventually making a decision that he was going to step away from the mayor's race, opened the door for Aftab, Pureval, and others, and here we are now. So I did think about that. Looks better than PG. I'm not going to go that deep with it. Elaine writes, good morning, Elaine. Good morning. Good morning. Sister Irish writes, good morning, great people. I will say again, I think that Aftab Pureval makes Cincinnati look better instantly. Instantly. It's a it's a diversity that it brings. It's just a different look for the city all the way around. Daryl writes, NYC Mayor Adams is up for Gilligan Award. Nate, really? What did this fool do? What did he do? I admit I do not know. Chris writes, good morning, Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Don writes, grand day to everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in, everybody. In a minute, we got to get a word in from our sponsor. Glenn writes, I'm grateful we don't have to deal with the Caitlyn Jenner of politics anymore. Boss Smitherman. Yeah, but that could just be for a short time because the man is running for county commissioner. And he's a shrewd operator. He's got a good shot at winning. We'll see what happens. Sarai writes, CPS should be virtual right now. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest debates happening in the city right now. And y'all, I feel the same way now as I did then. I feel the same way now. The wife and I had a brief conversation about it since yesterday's show. And we already know that, having our kids at home comes with a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a 7-year-old, and there's just certain things. He's far better now. We're better. We're more equipped for this virtual thing now than we were before because we went through it for so long. Like, I'll be honest with you, when that virtual shit hit first, boy, I was just on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? Because because I work from home, but you're working, right? And then you also have to be parent. And then you're trying to remember codes and QR scans and what time is it? And you got a whole new schedule now you got to put in your head. Listen, it's me and the wifey. And that shit wasn't easy. So if you're a single parent, I have nothing but sympathy for that, because if it was if it was if it was difficult for us and it's two of us, I could only imagine if you only got one parent, especially if you got multiple children, man, you talking about mission impossible. That shit was hard as well to do. Even if you work, let's say you working from home and you like in a Zoom meeting, and then your son, I don't know how to log on. What do you got to lead a Zoom meeting to do this? Man, but that's what we signed up for when we decided to bring Junior to the world. And we did decide to bring him because we didn't want him here. He wouldn't be here. Because he's here because we wanted him here, right? So we responsible for him. We got to make it happen. But I got nothing but sympathy for it. We had, oh man, we went hard, man. We went hard. We had some of our most emotional conversations around this. It's the chop shop was, splintered on, how we feel about it. And that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? That's because it means so much. And Sarah writes, CPS should be virtual right now. I mean, you could make a good argument. You can make a good argument, as the interim superintendent, Tiane Amat, did. It appears that she put a very good argument together that they should be. But you had board members who felt as if they didn't have enough time to let parents know. And I think that's what Mary Weinberg was saying on her. Oh, hold on here. I think she got a birthday. Okay, happy birthday, Mary. Oh, it's January 3rd. I'm late on this. Well, happy belated, Mary, if you happen to be watching. But here's what Mary Weinberg wrote on her Facebook page. Let me pull it up right now. Since you brought it up, Sarah, let's get into it. I got to go there. You already know I'm a very simple creature, since I'm fronting. But this is 10 hours ago. Last night I was sworn in as a school board member, and the night began immediately. Here are my reflections. Thank you. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. As a parent of two CPS students, one elementary and the other in high school, and as a teacher who only left the classroom this past month to serve on the board, I did not feel we had enough information last night to make an immediate shift decision to remote learning. The proposed move would have only given short notice to our families. Not every family has the resources and flexibility to make alternative plans in 24 hours. Letters were sent to district families today, letting them know that they needed to prepare for the possibility of a quick shift to remote learning, especially as staffing levels fluctuate. As both a former teacher in CPS and a current parent, I know more than most about the direct impact board decisions have on our students, families, community, and staff. I want what is best and safe for our students, so please know that I plan to make tough decisions. Okay, so I get it. She went on and she talked about her decisions. Um, I would have two questions for Mary Weinberg. One is, she says she felt like she did not have enough information last night to make an immediate shift decision to remote learning. And I would ask Mary, so what information are you lacking? What more in terms of information would you need to have been presented to make a decision last night? And secondly, I can understand, and as a parent, respect a board member saying, hold up now, what about the parents? I'm with that. However, in this scenario, my thought is the board could have made a decision like, hey, we are going virtual, right? They could have made that decision Monday and then spent the next 2 or 3 days, if not longer, notifying parents, right? So parents have a week or so to prepare, and then actually, have that date when they went virtual, right? That could have happened. And it sounds like maybe they're kind of doing that without saying we're definitely going virtual. Because like I said, I received at least 2 notifications from CPS last night. One was a text message asking me, which plan would I prefer, A or B? Would I prefer on a school by school basis going remote, or would I prefer like district wide? And then you had the text either A or B back to them. And there it is. So those are the questions I would have for her. And, maybe y'all have an emergency session. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can have emergency sessions. It's a fucking pandemic. So I can definitely see that. So my 2 questions for Mary Weinberg in response to her post would be, so what information were you lacking? Like, what more did you need to hear? Because maybe it's something we need to hear. And then secondly, okay, if the issue is notification of parents, why not make the decision like, hey guys, we are going virtual in a week. You got a week to get together, or we're going virtual in a week and a half if these things are still in place like they did before. Like if we still see these numbers, these statistics in a week, we're definitely going virtual on this day. Now, I might be splitting hairs here because they might be doing the same thing, but it's a little bit different because you made a definitive choice. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said earlier, if you're just tuning in, I talked to a CPS teacher yesterday, just happened to be there. Conversation was taking place. And this teacher was not happy. And this teacher was not happy with Ben Lindy being the new president. Not at all. Not at all. And what this is a teacher, not my words. What this CPS teacher told me was that they were concerned. It was a male. He's concerned that the new school board is just as bad as the old school board. I was like, damn, they just got down there. Now, I'm not prepared to say that because I mean, it's just one day, right? We got to get these folks longer than that. We got to get these people longer than that, I believe. However, this is not a normal circumstance. This ain't like regular degular out here, right? This is a whole different thing over here because we got the pandemic. So you got pandemic problems, which means everybody's anxiety's higher, everybody in their feelings, everybody got emotions running very, very high. So your reaction is going to be different than would it be if we were like not in pandemic times, right? Don't that make sense? I think so. 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts this morning. I'm just not one of those people who believe that the kids they have to be in school. It's the best place. I think it depends. It depends on what's happening in the world, right? It depends on what's happening with the pandemic. And speaking of which, now scientists have found a brand new variant. There's a brand new super highly contagious variant that's got 48 mutations I've read about. I'm like, damn it. We're still dealing with Omicron. You got a whole new variant. I want to say this again. I've been saying it. I'll say it again. We as a human race, I take that back. I can't speak for the human race, right? But we as Americans for certain are not prepared to deal with COVID. COVID is way more organized, way better funded, way better organized than we are as human beings. We can't even agree on basic things like, I don't know, that the election of Joe Biden was not stolen. We can't agree on facts. We can't agree on climate change. We can't even agree on climate change. You can clearly see that something's happening different on Mother Earth. How in the hell are we going to agree on something like COVID that's impacting everybody's life and interrupting? Like COVID's like the Mother Nature is the original disruptor. Meme that, somebody. Maybe you should give me credit. Mother Nature is the original disruptor. And right now, Mother Nature is disrupting everything. And Americans are not built for that. We can't even agree on Confederate statues. We can't even agree on Confederate statues. And these mofos were slave owners. How the hell are we going to agree on whether kids should go back to school or not? We don't have a chance. Now, we got to put up a fight, but we don't have a chance. I already know it. Humans versus COVID will win 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. We don't stand a chance. I mean, this is like a real life don't look up moment, right? This is like real life. This is crazy talk, man. This should be simple, but you know, what's more important? Business, money, or lives, right? Money's winning. Money and business will always win over human lives, or American lives anyway. It's just the way it is. We can't agree on basic shit. Like, we can't even agree on basic stuff, let alone something as complex as the ultimate disruptor, COVID. We ain't got no shot. I pray that the medical scientists can get out ahead of it. But I already know they ain't gonna be able to. How they gonna get ahead of a microscopic virus that's mutating faster with no timetable that scientists can predict? We ain't ready for it. But you know, we got all this science, you know, dropping science. Got all this science and all these gadgets and all these tools and shit. So we think we God. You know, all you gotta do is get the scientists on it. All they need is some time. Mankind ain't ready for everything. That's just me. I ain't trying to bring you down on it. 8 Dems gonna freeze Keating out. Yeah, my thing about Liz Keating is who is she gonna be? My prediction about Liz Keating, and this is just my observation from afar, and then she did an interview with I think she was talking with OZ Davis during Black Politico. Remember Black Politico 101 back in like late November, I think it was. It was a great show. Great night. And it was right after the election. So it was like that Thursday after the election. And I believe it was OZ Davis. Shout out to OZ. This morning. I believe he was talking with Liz, and I was a producer, so I got it. That was the first time I'd ever even been close to her or heard her talk at anything. She had those ads that was running on local black radio that were the worst ads ever, in my opinion, but they worked because she got reelected. And I mean, the production value of it anyway. But then I saw her interview with Ozzy, and what I think she's gonna do, she got one or two options. If Liz Keating is smart, let me give Liz Keating some advice. If Liz Keating, she got two options. She can be the obstinate, Debbie Downer, digging her heels into the mud Republican, just gonna be the voice of reason because you got all these Democrats down here that want to spin, and then she runs back to 700, and she's like the conservative warrior, right? She could play it that way. She could do the Betsy Sunderman. But I don't think she's going to do that because if she wanted to, she could have did it already. Or she could show people what bipartisanship should look like. And that would be great for her as well, for her personal political career. Like if she could come as the only Republican on city council, if she can come out of this next term looking good, looking like, oh, I can work across the aisle, it's only going to help her. It would only help her political career in the future. I suspect that's what she's going to do. I suspect that as much as she can find common ground, then she will. As much as she can. I believe that she'll try to be that kind of person on council because I think that's what's going to benefit her. If she tries to go the Betsy Sunderman route, look at what happened to Betsy Sunderman. She didn't get reelected because nobody wanted to hear that stupid nonsense anymore. They want to hear that. We're going to have a Protect the Blue rally because what? What? Hit her with the Russell Westbrook. Negro, please. Run around here trying to get Wendell Young kicked off of council. None of that served you, boo. Look where you at now. You at home like I am. Good. Come sit down next to me because we do not need you in local politics wasting our time and our money playing partisan politics. And then I'll never forget when I saw that committee when she just sat there as a committee chair and didn't check. It was two white males. One was what's the guy's day? Kurt something, member of Coast, now defunct. That's so much better for the county that Coast isn't operating the way they used to be. We're a better county because of it. And then a dude that was running for council as well, and he didn't get elected either because people can see through nonsense. We don't have time for that anymore. So we shall see. Liz will be a lame duck regardless of her style. Yeah, but if she's smart, there's a way she could play that. Like if I was in Liz Keating's spot as a Republican, I already know how I play it. So Sister Iris writes, Junior Sunshine. Good morning, Junior. Victoria writes, adorable. I love it. And then he is gone. I love little boys. Yeah, he comes in, he does his thing. Got to put his shoes on so he can go to school. Junior for City Council 2032. I don't think he'll be quite ready in 32. Like in 2032, what is this? 2022? That's only 10 years. So he'll be almost out of my fucking house. Let me see. He'll be 17. Oh my God. Woo, man. I don't even know what I'm going to do with all that time, but I hope to be in good health so I can enjoy it. Tiffany writes, good morning. I'm talking all this shit. These Negroes ain't never leaving my house. Angela writes, good morning, Junior. Have a great day. Gladys writes, I needed that this morning, Junior. Absolutely. Yeah, he just become a part of the show. I can't tell him not to come in. He comes in anytime he wants to. This is Daddy's little workspace. I mean, I can't tell him not to come in, so it's just become like a part of the show, which I love, man, because I'm all about promoting that positive Black family image. Now, we ain't fronting for you. If shit's going wrong, but I'm all about that black love. Put it that way. I'm all about promoting black love. Sean writes, hopefully CPS will go virtual. The quality of education that the children are getting has to be subpar at this point. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to see out of the position that you're in. So sometimes it's hard to see the struggles that other people might be dealing with. But I try to keep my heart open and remain empathetic. But I feel the exact same way now as I did then. Nothing's changed for me. I feel the exact same way. We got to do what's right for public health because we're spreading the disease. And that seems to be a factor that we're missing. And when I speak with Ben Lindy, if he in fact is a man of his word and he comes on, my first question, I'm gonna tell him, like, look, Ben, my issue with you is I feel like you're the kind of man who arrives at a conclusion, and then no matter what evidence you're presented with, you stuck on your conclusion, period. That's my biggest fear about him, because that's what I fear. I thought that's what I got from him when we spoke with him earlier in the year, and he was talking that Gilligan shit. I'm like, huh? What the fuck are you talking about, man? You know what I'm saying? To me, good leadership is flexible. You know what I'm saying? It depends. When you get new information, it might change your opinion. To me, even if I'm like, hey, A is my choice. If I get new information and it's telling me that B, it should be the choice, then the choice is B. In this just made up scenario. Hopefully I didn't lose you there. Nate, don't hate on us empty nesters. LOL. It's lovely. I hate all empty nesters. I hate every last one of you. Sarah, I'm just joking with you. I'm just having some fun with you. I'm happy for you. Live your best life. I'm living my best life. Kids are no kids. Them kids make my life better. However, I am looking forward to the day when I can do, I'm not even sure what that means at this point. I'm not even sure what that means. Because them Negroes ain't going nowhere. He ain't leaving the house when he's 18. If you go to college, we still going to be in our pocket. And then, with my daughter, I'm confident she out of here because she just can't stand our rules even more. She's 17, and every time we tell her to do something, it's like she's being injured. And I'm like, damn, I remember that. Stop telling me what to do, right? But boys are different. I like Scotty. He's always been a man of integrity. Yeah, you like him or don't like him. One thing about Scotty is he is his own man. And even with that situation that happened with the former mayor, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget this, man. Everybody wanted to talk with him. And I ran into him when I was walking in or out of the station one day. I think I was walking into the station. He was on his way in or out for an interview. I can't remember. And we talked about it. He said straight up, I did what I did, period. And people don't have to like it. That's how I feel about it. And I didn't like his decision. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was the wrong decision from my viewpoint, but you got to respect somebody. It is what it is. I said what I said. So we shall see. Wendy writes, Cincinnati needs a fresh perspective. The old folks got nothing done. We do need a fresh perspective all the way around. You're right. And it ain't even really about age. It's really about just new personalities, right? Fresh ideas. You know what I'm saying? Victoria Parks isn't, I'm not saying she's old, but I'm just saying she ain't what you would call young, but she still is a fresh voice with a fresh perspective, right? I ain't picking on Victoria Parks. I'm just saying all of them. Scotty, I think Scotty's 60. That comes with a lot of wisdom. We just need some fresh voices. I don't know. I just got sick and tired of seeing and hearing the same damn people say the same damn things. That's just me. Sarah writes, I'm satisfied. I encourage Aftab to run before he announced and foresaw his landslide victory. He is a game changer. Potentially. I was a part of the Black Male Coalition back in 1993. Is that right, Shauna? What is the Black Male Coalition exactly? Kenneth writes, peace and love, family. Absolutely. All right, okay. So we'll have to fast forward a little bit. Okay, I'll check it out. Before we go any deeper in the show, just a quick disclaimer here. The use of any copyrighted material is used under the guidelines of fair use on this particular stream. And no infringement or copyright infringement is intended. no infringement of copyright is intended, should I say, as it is written there. Good morning to you. And also want to get a word in from our sponsor, our friends over at Renew Community Church. They offer a Sunday morning masterclass. Did you know that? And you can tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew. That's CINCI Renew. You can tap in on YouTube at Renew Community Church live stream, 11:45 a.m. This Sunday's topic: learn how to feel good and attract money, health, and new relationships, job contracts, and business opportunities in 2022. You can also get a free ebook and maybe even coaching as well if you're interested at renewcommunitychurch.org. Always leveling up. Good morning to you. Let me throw a number on the screen again. If you want to give me a call, perhaps we'll take your call this morning. If not, you could take a free ride of my thoughts and sit back and chill. All right, sit back and chill. I'm loving the AB memes. Somebody wrote like, yeah, I hope in 2022 I give no F's like AB. I loved it. I loved it, man. I loved it. I still feel the same way I felt before, man. I mean, sometimes people are going to jobs this morning that you hate. You don't really want to be with them. You're going to be smiling. You don't really want to smile. You know what I'm saying? And you wish that you could do what AB did. Take off your jersey, take off your name tag, take off your hat or uniform, throw that motherfucker back in their face and walk the hell out of here. But you can't because of the money. So I hear all these different things about, these brothers and all this kind of stuff about this brother. But again, I think the lesson of that is sometimes you just got to walk away. And I'm wrong with that. Clarence writes, morning chopper. Sometimes people stay too long in relationships way past their prime. And then it's like a living fucking hell. Excuse my language. Lord, forgive me for a brash delivery. Then it's like a living freaking hell. And you wish you had did it after you do it. Yeah, how many people have ever stayed at a job or in a relationship too long? You leave a relationship, it's very emotional, and then you're like, I can exhale. I should have did that years ago, right? That's what I take from it. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Victoria writes, can you ask the mayor about these out-of-town companies creating LLCs, buying up homes in Cincinnati? Some homes are bought through sheriff sales, not only to be left vacant with no upkeep. Hold on, let me screenshot this. Okay, I will do that. Hold on, I'm getting a message here. Oh, okay. Eric Adams pushes businesses to bring workers back. Oh, boy. He must be a plant from the business community. Clarence writes, tell him, Nate. Tony Harris is in the house. He writes, good morning, all. Let's be thankful for the miracle of another grand and glorious day. I'm here for miracles. David writes, stop hating on empty nesters. You'll get there. And then he got the laugh emoji. Yeah, in 11 years. I don't even know I'll be alive in 11 years. I don't even know if I'll be alive then. But I'm going to enjoy it along the way. Like I said, that boy, he got athleticism in him. Whatever he does, it's just going to be my entertainment. I'm going to sit back like, entertain me, son. Entertain me. And then I get to mold him in my own image, right? So who knows what he's going to be. All I know is this. I keep saying it. When I die, the microphone falls out of my hand, my daughter and my son will pick it up and do whatever I haven't done. Hopefully. Or not. Or they'll do a bunch of dumb shit with my name. I don't know. Hey, Toy, good morning to you. She writes, hey, folks, long time, almost 2 years in. And while some businesses and entities have developed a post-COVID survival plan, our schools are still figuring it out. So unfortunate. Good to see you, Toy. Eloise writes, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, Elo. L-O-A. I mangled it. If we can get members that it gave an impact at a young age, that's what these young men need. If you have staffing issues, you are going to have student issues. Gladys writes, Chicago teachers close down the schools. Most call off work, but the mayor closes down direct learning. Our children are the losers. JD writes, teachers aren't feeling lending because he's with Teach for America. They don't care for that program. That's part of it as well. Yeah, that's part of it as well. Hey, good morning, JD. Good to see you. Nikki writes, and he'll love it when I get there. Oh man. My sister Iris has a question. Question for the mayor: in the search for the city manager and new police, can he ensure the citizens that the search firms will be culturally responsible? Two, how will citizens play a role in both searches? Okay. Let me screen grab this. Let me do the good snapshot here and I'll put this. Boom. Got it. Got it. Thank you for the question. Lindy is a reformer. People hate change. Lindy is a reformer. He may be. I don't know. Deshauna writes, good morning, all. Happy hump day. Grass and Rice, stats say kids don't learn as well as remotely. Kids are dumbed down at home, going to have a dumb generation. We don't live kids in school. Well, is that what the statistics say? Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any statistics. I have not seen any stats, and I'm sure they're out there, that I can say, here's where kids were before they went into virtual, and here's where kids were after virtual. I haven't seen those stats. Like, I know what the conventional wisdom is around that. Like, conventional wisdom is, street talk is that kids aren't doing as well. Okay. Some kids did even better. Some kids did great during COVID because they didn't have the social interactions. They didn't have to deal with teachers and administrations with implicit bias, and their grades was even better if you're just looking at grades. Now, learning, that's different. But I haven't seen those numbers, Braxton. Like, where are you pulling those numbers from? You said stats say, because I'd love to see them. That would tell us more definitively, but I don't know. Sarah, because I mean, again, that's what the word on the block is. That's what conventional wisdom is. But is that what the numbers are saying? I don't know. And then what's the difference? Like, how far away were CPS students in terms of their learning and grasping and retaining and being able to then, regurgitate on tests, or what's the word that we got all caught up in with that nonsense? Which, by the way, CPS actually acquiesced to the request of the teachers on that whole. Remember, we had that conversation with the testing. I told you so. CPS moved away from all of that. They backed away from their plan. They had a far more aggressive plan that was going to be like dozens and dozens of tests throughout the rest of the year. They backed away from it almost completely, by the way. But where are you getting these stats? And then what's the difference? Like, many CPS students, buildings were already getting failing grades. So what's the difference? Like, is it even worse? And if so, how worse is it? Is it so worse that we should consider kids being in school during a pandemic? Or is it just slightly worse where we should consider kids staying at home because the difference is not that big of a deal? We don't know that. At least I don't know that, should I say. It sounds like you know it, but I don't know it. So please send me a link so I can check out those numbers. I'd love to see them. If we're going to have these conversations, let's do it logically. Brenda writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Brenda. Nikki writes, Kova just keeps replicating itself. Kova. Remember Cardi B? Coronavirus. Shit is real. It's just real. Hey, what's up, Professional Reimbursement Network? She writes, good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Hey, good to see you. Sarah writes, this is economic chaos. Is it? Toy writes, I'm hitting the level up sound effect for COVID is better organized and funded. That's classic. Yeah, COVID is way better organized and funded than Americans are. We have no chance against COVID. I've got to wear a mask. I've got to consider other people's feelings. Oh, that's where it's a no-go. Considering other people's feelings. We are far too narcissistic, generally speaking, as Americans, to give a damn about other people. We don't care about nobody else. We only care about what makes us feel good, what we care about. Narcissism is at an all-time high among Americans. We have never been so narcissistic. as we are right now. I think the last time that human beings were this narcissistic were right before the fall of Atlantis. And we know what happened with that. Them Atlanteans was feeling themselves, man. Shit, look, we looking good in Atlantis. Look, we got flying cars and shit. God ain't got nothing on this. And that's what God was like, what? What did niggas say? What you say? Let me teach you something. And where is Atlantis now? We don't know. I'm just having fun. Kim writes, good morning. With all the viruses, would it be safer to live on Mars? Drop me off on Venus. That's where the good honey is. The good honey is on Venus. With all the viruses, would it be safer to live on Mars? No, because humans are there. Anywhere that humans are at is not safe. The safest places in the world is where humans are not at. The most dangerous place in the world is where the humans are. There's a YouTube channel, right? And I forget the name of it, but they do like a series where they have the most dangerous places in the world. All of the most dangerous places in the world are heavily populated with humans, right? Give me some lions, tigers, and bears, and flowers, trees, and birds, and bees. That's way safer than where humans are. So no, Akeem, if a lot of humans go to Mars, we're going to fuck up Mars too. That's what humans do. So we do. I'll say it again. Mother Nature is the original disruptor, the ultimate disruptor, because Mother Nature can disrupt everything. You got folks out there that want to disrupt this industry or disrupt that industry. Mother Nature will shut all this ish down forever for about 10,000 years under like a mile of ice. Stop playing with Mother Nature. We don't have no defense against Mother Nature, but the arrogance of humans, right? We figure we can figure out anything. We put a couple of telescopes in orbit. Now we think we masters of the universe. You know what I'm saying? Mofos created Facebook. Now we think we're in the metaverse. It's the folly of humans, man. And God, and again, I'm not one person. I'm not the kind of person that wax religiously. I'm not that dude. But God gonna teach us again. To keep on, like every 20,000 years or so, we have an apocalyptic event. You know what that is? It's Mother Nature saying, you know what? I'm gonna try this all over again. Think of it like a dry erase board. You ever play with a dry erase board and you got all your little whatever, your artwork, and you just simply just erase it away when you want to start over again? That's what Mother Nature has did with human beings many times before. And Mother Nature ain't playing with us. She ain't playing with us. We are insignificant on this planet, but we think we're masters of the universe. Okay. I think I broke my toe this morning. You ever stub your toe? You get past 35 when you stub your toe, it's like, I think I broke it all day long. But anyway, Mother Nature ain't playing with us. We are insignificant, but we think we so significant on this planet. We are not significant at all. This planet would be even better without us. There is a series I used to watch. I think it was on a sci-fi channel. It was called like After Humans, right? And so they got a bunch of smart people together, and they tried to theorize what would happen if every human being on the planet instantly disappeared. Like, what would happen to the Earth? And would you like to know what they found? The Earth got healthier. That's what happened. We are insignificant. This Earth don't need us. We need Earth, not the other way around. But we treat Earth like a trash can, right? We treat Earth like, it's like it's an ashtray, an ashtray for Americans. We just put our garbage and our trash into her, thinking she's always going to be here. And we's going to learn. We's going to learn. It might be in our lifetime or your kids' lifetime. I'm just saying. Protect the Earth. Stacy writes, if we don't communicate things, we'll get worse. Wake up. Yeah, you're right about that. So I'm grateful for, and again, I was reading Mary Weinberg. She was newly elected to the school board, and I think very highly. I think she'll do a good job. I think about all the school board members. Everybody has a clean slate with me, and I'm optimistic about everybody. But hey, this ain't a normal situation. This is pandemic problems. Pandemic problems are way more emotional. It's life and death. It's way more serious. And so you're going to get a more forceful response for people during the pandemic problems than you would if we weren't in a pandemic. And that just comes with the territory. All this science and we're having testing challenges. That's not a good look for this country. I mean, we're only human. Clarence writes, I know the United States was founded by a couple of doctors, but damn, it seems like they turned the country over to the doctors again. Like, like we got COVID pills, we got COVID spray, but yet the doctors would not take the grasp off America. The doctors? Sarah writes, she's going to carry that Republican water bucket. Talking about Liz Keating. Liz Keating has a big opportunity. She has a huge opportunity. This could make or break her political career with this first term. She's in a unique position. That's how I would look at it if I was her. And, you know, I don't know the people around her. I would imagine she's got, you know, the best of the best in terms of her staff and giving her advice. So they probably already told her what I'm telling you right now, because I think that's the best plan. The worst thing in the world for Liz Keating personally would be for her to pick up the mantle of Betsy Sunderman and start doing that Betsy Sunderman stupid shit. You know, that step and fetch it for conservative and Republican dumb shit that they got Betsy Sunderman not elected. That'd be the worst thing she could do, in my opinion. If she's smart, she'll figure out where she can work with the Democrats, but also figure out where, as a Republican, she can kind of stand alone. It's going to be a delicate dance for her if she's smart, which I believe she is. We should see. Grasson writes, Keating voted to suspend Young just like Jan Michelle, and she was wrong for that. That's why I didn't vote for Liz Keating. I didn't vote for Liz Keating, and that's why. But somebody else did, so she's on city council, so we got to deal with her. Yeah, anybody that voted to suspend, yeah, and I thought it was the wrong decision. Like, I understand why Jan Michelle did. I didn't like it. I thought it was the wrong decision, but I understand why. I still didn't like it. And it didn't go anywhere. You know, there was nothing, there was no there. You know, Wendell Young didn't do anything wrong. And I hope that Wendell Young, I like to see Wendell Young back in politics. I know he's had some health issues and stuff, but if everything was equal and healthy, I just thought that he had a good time on city council. And he brought a lot of intelligence and a lot of compassion for the people. You know, he was a people person, former police officer. So it seems like being a police officer is a gateway to being on council. You know, now he's got Scotty Johnson, who's going to be the chair in law and public safety. And I'll tell you this much. I think that as the law and public safety, it's going to be real interesting. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Scotty Johnson ends up doing a much better job as the chair of law and public safety than Christopher Smitherman does. Not to try to pit these two black men against each other, but I'm just saying, Grass, I know that he's your boy, and you know I like to take little shots here and there, so I'm taking my shot. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. And I think that he'll do a good job. Number one, he was a former police officer. And I think that could go both ways. But I think with Scotty, we shall see. I think there's a learning curve for all of them. For all the new members, it's going to be a learning curve. It's going to take them about, I don't know, at least 6-7 months to figure out, what am I actually doing down here? Like, what is the job? And what is my role? How am I going to approach the job? And I think we should give them a lot of grace and latitude for a while. Save any real big Gilligan moments to see who and figure out who they are. Graston writes, Keating should be Republican rebel rouser. City council isn't her final stop. I don't think she should. I think there's going to be times for that, and I think she should deal with it delicately, but I think she should try to figure out how she can be bipartisan. I think she should be a different kind of Republican. Like, we got a whole bunch of, you know, do whatever the party says, kiss Trump's ass Republicans, you know, don't look up Republicans. January 6th was really just a party, but they're calling it, you know, it really wasn't a big deal. We got a lot of those, right? But Liz Keating has an opportunity to be a different kind of Republican, and we shall see. We shall see. Some things aren't negotiable. I'm watching you, Keating. Yeah, you're right about that. And it should be that way. But again, this is just me talking. I ain't in politics. What do I know? If it was me, this is how I would approach it. But Liz Keating has to do what Liz Keating has to do. I'm surprised she on council, be honest with you. I'm surprised that she won. I'm surprised that she won over you know, other folks. For her to win, That tells me she must have got some black vote. And again, I have to look at the numbers. I haven't done that to really see what she did in different precincts. Hey, good morning to you. She's good morning, Nathan. Have an amazing day. Hey, what's up, Keisha? Good to see you. Wish you nothing but success, continued success in 2022. I love to see that black excellence. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag team NI. Good morning to you. Liz Keating needs to take a page from Liz Cheney. This man is on point this morning. And you matched the Liz's too. You was on point, bro. Excellent. Exactly. Liz Cheney is a Republican, but she calls out nonsense. That's all anybody is asking for. Excellent point. Excellent point. I'm with you on that 100%, Glenn. Clarence writes, so tell me, I didn't hear Aftab Pureval say that he is for vaccination carding before you enter a business. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember that. Now, to get into the event yesterday, you had to show your vaccination card along with your ID, and they just look at it like, okay, that's the same name on the license or the ID as it is on the vaccination card, and you walk in. And then once you walked in, they had another level where I guess you had to have an invitation. And I'd ran into somebody that I know, and she gave me an invitation. I was able to walk in and catch a seat. Um, but and it was outdoors, and most people I was around was masked up, and they had like 2-3 feet between people, which is not enough. We know that, but I didn't feel unsafe at all. And I'm thinking very seriously about getting this booster shot, y'all. Anybody gotten a booster? I'm thinking very seriously about it. I'll be your human guinea pig. For people out there that's a little squeamish about it, let me put everything on the line for you. For years I wasted my time and my money, and now I'll put my body on the line for you during the pandemic so you can see. You know what I'm saying? I got the Pfizer 2 shots, didn't feel anything. A lot of people, when they get the second shot, they have flu-like symptoms. I didn't feel anything at all. Was it sore? Yeah, but that's just the inflammation. I read up on it at the site of the injection, and that's pretty much what it is. I tried to put a quarter to the site of it, and it didn't stick. And it doesn't make any sense that it would stick because, if somebody had a magnet inside of a syringe, it would have to be damn near microscopic. And just imagine how powerful any kind of magnetic property would have to be for it to be microscopic, but yet you could put a cell phone up to it. So I know people saw those videos. I think they were all fake. People was doing that shit for clicks. Or who knows what part of the world it was in. Who knows? Will the mayor raise the sales tax for affordable housing? Can the mayor raise the sales tax by himself? Can he do that? I'm not sure he can even do that. But I will screen grab. I definitely want to talk about housing with the new mayor. And Aftab Pureval, the new mayor of Cincinnati, is scheduled to be my guest at 9 a.m. We'll see. I say scheduled because schedules change. Something might happen on their end. So I put it that way. Sheila writes, it feels weird to be an empty nester. My son just moved out. Really? I can imagine that, because when my daughter had a sleepover, like when she had her first sleepover, it felt weird. I'm like, where is my little girl? I went to her room. Her bed is empty. I'm like, I don't like the way this feel. I don't have enough control. I need to know, right? So I feel you on that, Sheila. I'm talking all this jazz about my kids leaving the house, and I'm going to be a big old softy when they finally do. I already know it. I fully admit it. Brandy writes, she's laughing. Good morning, Brandy. She writes, good morning. Everybody looking fantastic. I love this black excellence. Brent writes, enjoy it. I'm looking forward to my wife and I being empty nesters in 3 more years. Really? 3 more years? Ah, man. Happy for you. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Brenda writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Brent writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good to see you. Gail Foster's in the house. Hey, good to see you, Gail. All these new faces. I love it. Good morning, Nate. Happy 2022 to you and your family. Well, same to you and your family, Gail. I appreciate you. Brent writes, Russia, the blocker, is speaking from his current talking points. He's still hurt about getting kicked off the soft middle. Yeah, he might be. That's one of the biggest things that happened in the chop shop. The alt middle broke up. Mm, very sad. Sheila writes, my grandson did much better on virtual. I did have to sit with him after I got off from work and work with him, but he excelled on virtual. Yeah, medium Buddha, excelled on virtual because she missed it. She wanted to go back to school because of the social aspect. But what my daughter at that point, 16, told me was that she didn't have to deal with the social stuff. She didn't have to deal with like the little stuff that's happening between students. She didn't have to deal with teachers with attitudes. She just logged on from her home. The kids had way more time because think about it. They don't have to travel. They had way more time to sleep. They had way more time to think. They didn't have to get dressed every day. I'm going to say it again. I think that virtual and that CDA Academy is the right choice for some kids. It's the absolute right choice. And I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. Assessments. That's right. Assessments. Remember we had this big conversation about assessments? It was the dumbest shit ever. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm like, huh? In terms of from the student perspective, test and assessment is the same. But what CPS does with it is the difference. We was playing games with words. But like I said, as I was told, I'm not sure if this is true or not. And I'm not so arrogant to believe it was this show. I think it was just the media and people's reaction in general. But this show was a part of it. But CPS backed away from their initial plans because they was getting so much pushback and decided to go with a much, much more scaled down assessment schedule. And I think that the teachers were more happy with it. So Sister Iris writes, the assessments were to help identify how far students were behind based on COVID. I mean, again, I'm with that. I just, I still have some issues with it. And the way they explained it, maybe that makes sense, but the way they came across to me in an interview, I'm like, I don't understand this. Nikki writes, right, Nate, shit is real. That's right. Brent writes, is Cardi B supposed to have a cousin that had a friend who allegedly became impotent right before his wedding from taking the COVID vaccine? I thought that was somebody else. I thought that was Nicki Minaj. I thought it was. Marisha writes, good morning. I'm a Jeff Wilder Honda. I have on two Jeff Wilder Honda. I have on two masks. You're Jeff Wilder Honda. You get a new car, you're getting your car serviced. I remember the days when I could take our car back to the dealership, man. Everything was covered by the warranty. Nigga was happy as hell. This is cool, right? You get your new car. You got that, 2-3 year warranty. Anything go wrong, you just drive that bad boy straight over there. Get you a water, sit there and watch you some Jeopardy. They'll call you 2 or 3 hours later when your car's fixed. No money. That is the best. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a here for lifetime warranties on all parts and labor for cars. Man, we was living good. Wait, we got 2-year warranty? Every little scratch, any little thing, I think something's going on. We were straight back at the dealer. I think it's covered. Yeah, it is covered. And nothing like when they say it and look at the policy like, yeah, it's covered. We don't have to come out the pocket for $1,000 or $500, man. Those was the days. And then your car outlives the warranty. And then you got to pay for it. Your face is like, Lord, please don't let this car break down on me. Because this shit is expensive. Susan writes, now they're saying that the cloth masks and even the medical, surgical, aka hospital issue masks are ineffective for prevention of transmission of Omicron. Well, I'll be honest with you, Susan. We already knew that the cloth masks didn't offer the same level of protection because they're not made to do that. It's just cloth. You got to have that real deal, that N94, N95. You got to have a real deal. Now, somebody gifted me some N95, and basically the N95 masks are the Chinese version of the N94, I believe. I think that's how it goes. So it does the same thing. And so I was rocking those. I ran out of them. I think I still got some. I think I got a little honey pot, little cachet of some the N95 masks that I'll rock from time to time. But I've been wearing a cloth mask, and I already know. So you're right about that. Let me see. Angela writes, my granddaughter's grades fell since she went back to school. She went from straight A's to B's and C's. I feel like virtual was better for her. Her teachers were on there with them from 9 to 3:30 p.m. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for some students, virtual was better academically because it just kind of fit the way that they learn. And again, everybody had more time. They don't have to get up and like spend 45 minutes to an hour getting prepared and then going to school. So that hour, they're sleeping. So by the time they get up to go to school, they're you got an hour, in some cases, 90 minutes more sleep, depending on the travel time per student. So just think about it. If you had an hour or 90 minutes every single morning extra to sleep, would you be better when you go to work? You better believe you be better because you got about 60 to 90 minutes more worth of sleep. But it is what it is. We are where we are. Nikki writes, Earth thrived. Oh, you saw that too? Yep, the Earth thrived. Earth made a comeback when humans were gone. Earth does not need humans. Humans need Earth. Just remember that. Daryl writes, Nate, don't expect much from Liz Keating. She ran as Republican and ultimately supports Trump ideology. And for Mr. That's a hell, and for me, that's a hell no. Well, I'm gonna reach out to Liz and see if we can get on the show and get a sense of who she is. I think it's just fair. I think it's fair just to hear from people directly so they can speak for themselves. I know what I think from afar, but unless you really sit down and talk with somebody, and when she was talking with Ozzy, she was very pleasant. She was very pleasant, and things she was saying made a lot of sense. And just because you're a Republican don't mean you're a bad person, right? Don't mean you're a bad person. So it'll be interesting to see. Maurice writes, Michael Blackson became a U.S. citizen, a real Ghanaian American in October of 2021. Is that right? Nate, you're an MC microphone controller. I used to be. Now I'm a creative. I'm a Black creative. That's how I look. That's how I look at myself these days. I'm a creative. Angela writes, he'll be faced with making unpopular stances as LPS chair. LP, Law and Public Safety chair. He will be. It'll be interesting to see. It's gonna be very interesting to see how Scotty Johnson, how he is as a chair of Law and Public Safety. It's gonna be very interesting. And again, it's a question mark. I don't know yet. Grooming her for Shabbat's seat in 2024. Is that right? Are we sure that Shabbat's stepping down in 2024? Because he got a good thing going there. He got a lifetime job over there in the 1st Congressional District of Ohio. Speaking of Steve Shabbat, he ain't going nowhere. If I was him, why would I ever leave? You got a lifetime job at Congress. And you got a district that's gerrymandered so that you can beat almost any opponent. The only way that Shabbat's gonna lose is if Shabbat does something dumb. As long as he don't do something dumb that pisses off his base, he Gucci. Nat writes, Lincoln Ware and Charlie Winburn brought Keating to the community, but it'll probably only benefit them. Did they brought her to community? I'm not sure they brought her to the community. I know that Charlie Winburn voiced some of that ad. I thought it was a terrible ad, in my opinion, in terms of production. I'm like, who did this? What 6-year-old did this? But it worked. So I guess it was a great ad. Michelle Dillingham should have won. For whatever reason, I like Michelle. I like Michelle Dillingham. I think she'd be great on council. That's me personally. But for whatever reason, and there's a lot of good reasons, like there's reason behind it, but Michelle gets a lot of attention. And for me, when I saw that special interest groups were going after her specifically, it made me want to support her even more because I'm like, if this group is afraid of her, maybe she should be on council. I was kind of thinking like that, right? Like think of like a special interest group that you're at odds with and their overall mission statement is the opposite of what you think should happen. And they go super hard at a candidate. Like, we want to put money in stopping this candidate from getting on council. To me, I'm like, they must see something. They must see something, right? So, but again, she might have burned some bridges with the Democrat Party. She had to figure that out and navigate those waters. I will say I did speak with Michelle Dillingham afterward, and I don't know if she's going to run for council again. I don't know. I think if I would say keep running. I would tell anybody run. That's what is in your heart to do. You should do it, no matter what you think might happen. Just run anyway, because sometimes you got to leap and the net will appear. What's the brother's name? Philip. I forget the brother's name. He got the Democrat endorsement. He was the only endorsed Democrat to not run to win. I think is because of the way he ran, and then, quite honestly, his performance in some of those public events. Philip O'Neill. I think with just a little bit of coaching and then a little bit more seasoning, then he would have won as well. That's what I think. But Sarah writes, I'm not on that vaccination card shit. Why not, bro? Why not? Why not? What's wrong with the vaccination card? Lisa writes, got my booster last week. Got my booster. Patrice writes, I got my booster. Dale writes, I have taken the Moderna and the Moderna booster. Well, people are responding and selling us this because I'm thinking about getting the booster. I'll be your human guinea pig. Like for folks that is squeamish about the vaccine, I've taken the vaccine. I took the Pfizer vaccine. I took both of them. I felt no different. I don't feel anything different. I didn't even have 1 day of discomfort when I got the second. Really, the worst part of it was the first shot because I had a lot of swelling, not swelling, but inflammation and pain at the site of the injection. Other than that, I didn't get any flu symptoms. I never got sick. I didn't get a temperature. Nothing happened. When I took the second shot, I didn't even know they had taken the damn shot. I'm like, oh, you're done? I mean, but I have to watch the needle. So I watched it go in and out and boom. I'm not squeamish about needles, no matter where the needle is. I've just learned it about myself. I've gotten shots in the knee. I've gotten shots in the gums at the dentist. And like, we're going to shoot you. And you can feel it, but it's no big deal. It really ain't. So I'm planning on getting the booster. I'll probably get the booster sometime this month. And when I do, then I'll share my experience with you. If you're squeamish about it, maybe I can help you. Or if I grow a third ear or a third eye, then you can see it and be like, oh, I don't want to take the booster now because Nathan grew a third eye. And I could totally understand that. Jared writes, got the Pfizer booster and it wasn't as bad as the second shot for me. Got the booster in September. Sarah writes, mask mandate, yes. TNT writes, Liz Cheney is still lockstep with Republicans when it comes to any significant vote, so she basically exhibit integrity within limits. Right. She's a Republican, but she's not going with the Trump lies. That's where she draws the line in the sand. So I'm glad you said that. Sandra Jones in the house. She writes, morning, good people. Good morning to you. Jerry Johnson writes, good to see you, Jerry. I am a veteran, went to the VA and felt fine, got the booster, and it kicked me into high blood pressure and diabetes. Things haven't been the same since. Is that right, Jerry? Damn, shit. Now, I got to ask, Jerry, and I'm not trying to pry, and if you don't want to share, you don't share. That's your business. I respect it. But did you have pre-existing conditions? Like, was high blood pressure and your diabetes, was that an issue beforehand? You saying it just kicked it even higher, made it more exacerbated things? I'm not happy to hear that, man. Things haven't been the same. So when you say things haven't been the same, and when did you take it? How long has the time frame, and what's different now? I'm very curious. Damn, Brandy writes, I am an empty nester for a while now, and it's amazing. Y'all gonna rub it in my face? All right, go ahead and rub it in my face. Go ahead. I ain't mad at you. See, that's the yin and the yang. When you have children early in life, you give up your youth, but you get middle age and you get your adulthood back, right? When you have kids late in life, like I did, I had my son later in life. That Negro with us until I'm in my 60s. But I had my younger years. So, it's all a wash, right? That's the way I look at it. However, now is what matters. Like the past don't matter as much as now, right? So I get it. Thank you for sharing. I'll be there one day. One day. That's not how it goes. Sarah writes, many of the children have actually excelled and done better on virtual. See, I want to see the number. Black Russia was like, yeah, the stats are showing that virtual learning is bad for kids. Show me the numbers. I haven't seen it from CPS. I don't think they've made these numbers public. I'd like to see an analysis done between pre, during, and post-COVID. Like if there's a difference in terms of learning through assessments, they can ascertain how much kids have learned, what's the learning loss and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a learning loss between school years anyway. But is it a different variance? Has there been a larger degree of learning loss due to COVID because of virtual learning than there was on a normal going from summer to school year anyway? I don't know. We haven't seen those numbers. We got to be fair. We got to see the numbers. Let me see. Nate, my daughter was in Cincy for 2 weeks over the holiday break. I didn't know what to do with myself. Is that right? Tony writes, Tori writes, we all need a patient booster along with a Pfizer. We're all getting bored and frustrated, making us reckless while the virus gets more transmissible. Hey, good to see you, Tori. Good to see you. Oh, you getting your car service? Oh, man, I remember those days. Getting your car service. Look at you. That feel good. Warranty covering everything. Shh, man. That shit feel good. When you sitting there at the dealer's office and you in the waiting room, and it might take them a couple hours and you ain't got to pay for nothing. It's all covered by the warranty. Shh, that's a great feeling right there, boy. Get you a complimentary water. You sit back with the rest of the folks getting their car service. Y'all watching, I don't know, Family Feud or whatever the fuck's on TV. And you ain't got to come out of pocket. Man, that's the greatest feeling in the world. This is the greatest feeling in the world. And they say it's covered by the warranty. Damn, that's a great feeling. I miss those days. We're like 2 years past our warranty. So something go wrong with our automobile, we got to pay for it. So I got to pay for this shit? I'm already paying a car note. Damn, that's a great feeling. I just want to bask in that feeling for a second. It's just such a great feeling, isn't it? Yes, it is. Drop writes, good morning, Choppers. President Biden was supposed to bring welcome change from Trump. He was going to be the nice guy president. He was not going to lie. He was going to be competent. He is. He's way more competent than Trump. Trump told like 20,000 plus lies while he was in office. So he's not telling lies like Trump was. He is a nicer guy in the sense that he's not all about me, and his narcissism. We don't have to deal with that. He is a welcome change. What you talking about? Biden is a million degrees better than Trump was. Just in terms of the stuff that comes out of his mouth and the way that he conducts himself as a man and as a president. So what you talking about, Drop? Yeah. Oh, Daryl corrected me. He's right. N95 and KN95. Is that what it is? I think you might be right. I think you might be right about that. They say Rye writes, what difference does it make when you can still catch COVID from both vaccines and the booster? Well, I think it makes it more difficult for you to transmit it if you've got the vaccine and the booster. And then secondly, it makes it more difficult for you to get super, super sick with it. That's what I think. That's what I believe. Brother Lannis writes, good morning, Brother Nathan Ivy. Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Lannis, always. He is the coach of the Ohio Kings. You're like, who's the Ohio Kings, man? Check them out. Locally black-owned, semi-professional or professional basketball league. They play their games on Saturdays. You should check them out. Go to the Ohio Kings, go to their website or on Facebook presence and check them out. Could be some good family entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Kamara's in the house. Good morning to you, sis. She writes, good morning. Good to see you. Daryl writes, it does in today's environment. Republicans equal evil. Do they? I'm getting a call right now. Save the call. I got to take a break. Save the call, and I'll try to get you in a second. I got to make sure we're all plugged up here. I'm not right now. So I got to take a quick break, and we'll come right back, all right? Give us a chance to get a word in from today's sponsor. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Black boy joy, she wanna see the Forbes like I wanna see her form.
for it, yeah. Hey, you pay me, but I'm old, yeah. Yeah, all this money on me. Yeah, cash rules all around me. Yeah, all this money around me. Yeah, cash rules all around me.
Hey, yeah, man, how you feel like a man with that? I tell a long little real life, stay true to that. Hey, no, man, how you feel like a man with that? I tell a long little real life, stay true to that.
Hey, big bags, my back ache through customs. You travel like you must be tough out of your luck, huh? I'm that go-to when she down to come through clutch, huh? Sit round till I'm flushed, huh? My drip, real plush, huh? Internet tea off a blue pill. Can't grip stack of the blue cheese. Turn that to a bag in a new crib. Nice big spot by the seaside. Never stressed on for a handout. Just ain't on, but it be on. Just ain't on, need to be right, yeah. Go front to show the color of my soul. Cool you think you is, you got me in a mode. Where I'm from, we live and die by the code. Either that or sell your soul to get a roll. Black boy joy, she wanna see.
All right, real quick break. Learn how to feel good and attract money, health, new relationships, job contracts, and business opportunities in 2022. That will be the topic of conversation on this Sunday's masterclass with Charlie Winburn. You can tap in to our friends at Renew Community Church on Facebook at facebook.com/CincyRenew and on YouTube at Renew Community Church live stream. And it all starts at 11:45 a.m. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I think I broke my toe. Feels like it. You ever get up in the morning and you're stumbling in the dark to get to the bathroom, or you're going downstairs or turn the light on, you stub your toe? It happened this morning. Damn it. Think I broke it. Speaking of breaking it, man, Junior had a broken arm. I didn't tell y'all this. Junior had a broken arm. He broke his arm over the holiday. Yeah, so for Thanksgiving, we went to Cleveland, and we stayed with our brother-in-law and his beautiful family in their beautiful home in Cleveland. Very spacious. Love it. And our son, of course, was there. He was playing with his cousins. He comes downstairs holding his arm, screaming, "Ah, my arm, my arm." I'm like, what the hell? My arm, my arm. Apparently, he's laying on the floor playing like kids do. One of his cousins stepped on his arm. Now, she didn't mean to do it, but she must have stepped on it pretty good. We knew that because of just how loudly and forcefully and how long he was crying for. I'm like, what the hell? And I told the wife, I'm like, I wonder if he's got a bone bruise, because for days afterward, my arm, mommy, my arm, my arm. But then he go play. My arm, mommy, then he go play. He's running around house playing hide for seek or rolling on the ground, doing all the kid stuff, having a good time. But every once in a while, he come to us and say, my arm, my arm, my arm. I'm like, well, let's wait and see. So we waited. We came back home. The boy was still complaining about it. It got to the point where we're like, we got to send him to the doctor. At this point, we like 2-3 weeks later, right? Like, let's take this boy to the doctor because he's still sort of complaining about it. We take him to the doctor. He had a whole fractured arm. We didn't even know. He playing and everything. But he got a little 6-7-year-old body. So, they're healing. They got that Wolverine healing factor, right? The doctor told us that just wait another couple more weeks. It's already starting to heal. They looked at the x-ray. So he's got like a little cast that he don't even wear. But he puts on sometime, when he wants attention. He just wanted to do whatever. It's like a little Thanos glove. It's like a little protector right there. And they said, he'll be fine. He had a little bump there. I thought it was a bone bruise. Had no idea because he was playing. I'm like, damn, the power of play is amazing. Because with a broken arm, he still was playing with his cousins. He run through the house playing hide and go seek. He doing flips. He doing all the things. And then every once in a while, he would complain about it. Like, oh, I hit it. I'm like, damn, I guess he got a bruise. Nope, had a whole broken arm. Fractured. I was like, what? My little buddy had a fractured arm? What the hell? I'm in my feelings about that. I'm like, Lord, break my arm. Don't break my son's arm. I'll take the pain. But he's all good now. He's all good. As you can see, and he comes in every morning. I asked Shabbat directly a few years ago what he planned doing about the high child poverty rate in the region and listed some stats in Huffington Post. He basically said that the stats were skewed because it was the Huffington Post. Oh boy, one of those. Tory writes, don't give up on the first congressional district, but who wants to do the work to take the seat from the incumbent and with whom? Mm-hmm. Charles writes, good morning. Jared writes, I just got over COVID this week. I wish I would have got the booster. Everybody be careful out there. What? I didn't know this, really? Damn. I'm glad you got over it, man. I'm glad you got over it. I hope there's no side effects or anything like that. You know, I'm just throwing my hands up. You know, we think that COVID has come through our house before. We thought that our son, like it was early 2020. It was December and January 2020. And my son got super, super sick. He was super ill. He was like not even responsive. It was the scariest ish ever, yo. I'll admit, I was scared. I'm like, what the hell? I remember picking him up and he's just like in my arms, just laid back because he was just so sick. We think he had COVID. And it was like January of 2019. I'm sorry, January 2020, December 2019. It was somewhere in between there when he got sick. And he was sick, like sick. I'm like, damn, what's wrong with my little boy? You know what I'm saying? You feel so helpless as a father and your children are sick and you can't do anything about it. It's the worst feeling ever. And we think it went through the house. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a sickly person though. You know, my whole life, I've never been a sickly person. I've got a very strong immune system, even stronger now. So I felt some sniffles here or there. I've joked with the wife, I think I got COVID, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel some sniffles. I feel like a little heat flash or some shit like that. But nothing really stuck or lasted or anything like that. So I think that each and every one of us is going to get COVID. I think trying to prevent yourself from getting COVID is mission impossible. It's not even about whether you're going to catch it. It's about what your body's going to do. What's going to be response if you catch it. That's what I personally think. Now, I think all effort should be into trying to not catch it. But I think unless you're somebody, then you've sequestered yourself and you've got the means and the wherewithal to live your life in your home, in your bubble, it ain't no way for you not to get it. And even if you door dashing or, you know, you having your groceries sent to the house, somebody touched them. I just think it's impossible at this point. That's just my personal viewpoint. But Jerry writes, I took it 2 weeks before Christmas and I had to go to the hospital twice within a week. Is that right? Good morning for you. Good morning to you. Ashley writes, I feel you, Nathan. I had baby Chopper in my mid-20s. She will be four on the 22nd. So when you get to your mid-50s, you done. But see, I had some friends. I had a partner. He had his son when he was like 17, 18. His son grown. He been gone. So he living his best life as an empty nester. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends. But he gave up his early years. So when he was messing with a baby in our 20s, I was baby free, chilling. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have that. So now, you know, to me, it all equals out. I just take life for the way life brings it to me, you know what I'm saying? And try to make lemonade out of lemons. Not to say that having a child is lemons, but to make lemons out of lemonade, you know? You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Kenneth writes, no vaccines, it's poison itself. Okay, Kenneth, I respect your opinion, brother, 100%. Deborah writes, sent my vaccinated kids back to school this morning. Thank goodness. Right, because they on your back. And make sure your kid ain't truant. They was on your back. Susan writes, where is everybody getting their boosters? Should they do boosters at Walgreens? They do boosters all kind of different places. I think that might be where I get mine. Dell writes, Black Operative is always on the side of big money. He's a troll against Black people. Black Operative. Yeah. I don't want to think that Black Operative, aka Black Russia, aka Gragston, is a troll against Black people. I don't want to believe that. However, he has displayed some trollish tendencies right? He definitely has. He do have some troll in him. I will say that. Sheila writes, I was 21 when I had my first child. My son has just moved. He is 19. See? But see, you gave up your 20s. You was juggling 20s with a kid. But now 40s and 50s is all yours. So it just, that's how I look at it. Like, I joke about that. I'm not really upset with empty nesters. I'm just kind of having some fun with you. But it's all a wash. It all evens out. It all evens out. Everybody's life is everybody's life. You know what I'm saying? That writes, my dealership used to give free snacks too. Now we got to pay for them. Shaking my head, LOL. At the dealership where we bought our latest automobile, they have free snacks, free water, free Wi-Fi. Sit back in the chair, which wasn't the most comfortable. They could have had some better chairs there. Recliners. And watch some little TV. And then the warranty pays for all your parts and labor and everything. Psh, ain't nothing better than that. Deborah writes, get an extended warranty or car shield. We did pay for the extended warranty. You already know. Ain't nothing better. It's like, what's wrong with the car? It's like you just feel so much better when you got that extended warranty, right? You know, you're driving around, you hear a little something like, this don't feel right, or the car's rubbing or something, a light comes on, you're like, no problems. I've got a warranty. And you run that baby straight out to the dealership so quick. Man, listen, when you don't have a warranty, you take a wait and see approach, right? Like, let me wait and see what this is. I may not have to pay for this. This may not be a problem. When you have a warranty, that car will be out there within a few days. You got any time? I heard something in my car. What is it? I don't know. I want you to look at it. I got a warranty. That's just how it goes, man. Politically podcast show correction, Nate. Donald Trump had 30,000 plus lies in 4 years, according to the Washington Post. I thought it was 20, but oh man, drop. What? Biden has put out the welcome mat, and illegal immigrant crossings are at their highest level in over 2 decades, exceeding 210,000. I don't care about immigrants. This whole country this is a nation of immigrants. Everybody's here illegally. Everybody's here illegally, man. So I don't really get into that illegal immigration thing. I really don't. Everybody's here illegally or was brought here immorally. You know what I'm saying? So now we come in here, we want to shut the door. I don't believe that. I'm not saying it should be an open door policy. We need to know who's coming in and out. But I mean, you know, hey, it is what it is. Hey Nate, what's the penalty for breaking the copyright laws concerning your show? Well, it would depend on, so for instance, like somebody took clips of this show and played it on their show and they didn't get my authorization, you know, it could be the full extent of whatever the laws are. It would go as far as I wanted it to go, or we came up to an agreement. That's what would happen. I mean, if in fact there was a copyright infringement and they didn't have any copyright infringement, like under a Creative Commons license or anything like that, which I have not done with this show, they could deal with the full extent of whatever the law is, which I can't really fully articulate to you at this point. But that's a very delicate hit or miss thing, especially on YouTube. It's complicated. I mean, there's rules to it, and I'm much more aware of what they are now than when I first started doing the show on YouTube. But it's complicated. But the full extent of the laws, it could be, you know, they owe me some money. It could go for anything from if there's a podcast out there that sampled this show and like it got back to me, it could go anywhere from, on the low end, then I'm gonna need you to take that down or take that content off that show. So go back, delete or take out that content that you use without my authorization and then put your show back up. It could be that particular show comes down off the internet forever, or it could be open up them, you need to write me a check. It could go from one to the other. Those are the extremes it could go to. On YouTube, for something like that, they will suspend your channel, and then they will remove your channel forever and ever and ever. And you get like 3 strikes on that. So hopefully that answers your question. It's a very serious matter. It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. And for content creators, you need to be up to speed on all of that, because you will get a notification. You will get a notification for real. And you'll get it from whoever the creator is, and or you can also get it from the platform, and they both come with serious consequences. So it's not a game. It's not a game at all. It's very serious. Let me see. 4.5 million people quit their jobs in November. AB said, hold my beer. Damn, 4.5 million in November? That's because people are sick and tired of working for ungrateful bosses. They're sick and tired of being underappreciated for a little bit of change. And with the internet and the gig economies, people are saying, look, hell, I can do DoorDash and make the same amount of money and be my own boss. Why wouldn't I do that? Shit, I'll do a little DoorDash here. I got my side hustle here. I got my side hustle there. I got a side hustle there. I got 4 or 5 income streams. Those 4 or 5 income streams pay me as much as working for somebody else. Why would I want to work for somebody else? And that's what people are doing. And I love it. I think it's a smart idea. Oh, Lord. Coon shit black conservatives are caping for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Sarah writes, I'd like for you to ask Mayor Pureval, how does reimagining CPD budget coincide with more community engagement or social programs that will reduce crime? I'm not sure he's for reimagining the budget. I don't remember him ever saying that. I don't remember that. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I just don't remember it. But I will document this. Hold on. I'm screen grabbing and capturing all of your questions. And if you want to add a question in real time, great. Scheduled to get a call from the new mayor at 9 a.m. coming up in about 7 minutes or so. But again, I say scheduled because things happen. Things change. Things change. Good morning to you. I'm going to open up the phone lines. We know we had a caller earlier, but I need to make sure that everything on my end was Gucci, and it was not at that point. But we're good now. So if you want to give us a call, 513-873-7134. Again, open your mind before you open your mouth. That's it. That's it. That's all I ask. That's not too much. If life gives you lemons, squeeze it back. It's life. Squeeze it back in life's eyes. Is that right? I got my booster at Walgreens on Mitchell. Set the appointment up online. No walk-ins. Yeah, they're doing them booster shots and vaccination shots everywhere. You can get them everywhere. If you want to get it, you can get it. Carmelita writes, I was diagnosed with COVID over the holiday. Because I have COVID, I was taken off of the transplant list for the next 90 days. Damn. I'm very disappointed and so disheartened. If anyone would like information on live kidney donation, contact Trisha Monson at 513-585-1440. Damn, that is terrible news, Carmelita. It's terrible news. I am not happy at all. Because I know that transplant is serious. I know that transplant is serious. I know that 100%. So, damn. You're in my prayers. That's all I can say. You're in my prayers at this point. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hello. Yo, good morning. Welcome to the show. They hung up. All right. No problem with that. Kenneth writes, why as Black people in America, where we have never been treated right, trust these people with our lives and their shot? Wake up, family. Paying you to take poison. Well, Kenneth, listen, I said, man, I respect your opinion, but let me just probe a little deeper in terms of your mistrust of medical science. How deep is it? Are you one of these people that never go to the doctor for anything? Because like I got a family member, I got a little brother that's got some health issues, and his ass will run to the doctor for his health issues with his heart and with his body in a second. But then when it comes to the vaccine, why would I trust these people? And I'm thinking, you take prescription medicine now that the same medical doctors and scientists prescribe to you. You go to the same doctor's office you run to when you have chest pains is the same doctor's office that you're now saying that we can't trust. And I don't understand that. So again, I respect your opinion in no way. I'm talking about my brother because your comment made me think about him. It sounds like something he said to me many times before. And I always did the same thing back. Like, bro, you a hypocrite. Your knee goes out, your ass is in an emergency. You got a back problem, your ass is in an emergency. You start having a heavy chest, your ass is in the emergency. You trust them for that, but you don't trust them for this. Okay, I get it. I get it. To the phones we go. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. What's up, man?
Hey,
I'm
what
not
up?
going to keep you too long.
Hey, what up, Daryl?
It's
Good morning.
Daryl from Atlanta. Hey, as a former Cincinnatian, and I've been hearing this, could you ask the mayor, and I think it's something that people in Cincinnati and black people all over the country need to know, is, you know, the pension funds that taxpayers pay into for city workers, is that money shared or invested with black hedge fund managers? And if not, who's in charge of that?
So the question is, I get it. I get it.
You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I understand the question.
Okay. Okay, that's all I had, bro.
All right, thanks for the call, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, most def. All right. Good morning to you. Well, the only thing I would say is, I mean, this is literally Aftab's second day on the job. That's what I would say. Like, literally, he was sworn in yesterday. Literally, yesterday was his first day as the mayor of Cincinnati. Literally, today is the first full day. Like, today is the first day where he went to bed last night as the mayor, and he's waking up this morning as the mayor. When he woke up yesterday, he was not the mayor. He was the mayor-elect. So today is his first full day. So I would just say, let's keep that in mind in terms of, you know, what our expectations are. Because I would assume, like with any job, the more you do it, the more you know about all the things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel the same way about the mayors I do council and school board. You know, let's give them some time to, number one, get in the job. You know what I'm saying? Learn the job, figure out what it is, and figure out who they're going to be in the job. You know, that's just my personal approach. But I do appreciate it. Ebony writes, ask him if he is going to do with the parents with these wild ass kids terrorizing the community. Ask him what he is going to do with the parents with these wild ass kids terrorizing the community. So are you suggesting, so let me make sure I understand. So are you asking, is there going to be like some kind of penalties for parents of young people that are committing crimes? Is that what you're saying? Isn't there already though, Ebony? I feel like if you're a parent and you're not on top of your job and your kid is out here living their best life in the streets and you're not doing your job, I feel like there's already mechanisms in place to deal with that. But I appreciate the call. Ask the mayor about net neutrality. That's interesting. That's interesting. Perhaps, yeah. Ebony writes, what is he going to do with the slum lords? PUA, CMHA, downtown properties, etc. That's a fair question. I mean, I do plan on asking him about, you know, housing and what their plans are and what's first and things like that. And I will ask him about that because that's a real question. That's a real problem here. Like, it's some shit that's been happening with some of these property owners. We have seen their greed. You know, I've heard stories about people where, like, they go to one of these local nonprofits and the nonprofit helps them with, you know, help them with some of the money. And then, you know, the property owner gets greedy. You know what I'm saying? They get greedy real quick. Like, either they don't want to accept the money because they want the tenant out because they want to charge more rent, or they might be trying to double dip, like get paid from the tenant and also getting paid from some of these local nonprofits. It's a mess. It's not a simple thing. It's not a simple thing. And I've just got a little bit of insight on that. But I'm just saying it's you know, that greed, right? You know, sometimes we as human beings can't love each other properly because we so caught up with that almighty dollar, trying to get a few more dollars, right? Let me get a few more dollars. And that's capitalism. Like, how can you tell somebody who's a property owner that they can't charge what's a fair market rate for their property? Right? It's a very difficult thing. So I think that's a good question. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. It's Aftab Pureval. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Mayor. Welcome to the show. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This is my first full day in office, and this is my first press hit, and that is intentional because you've been a wonderful platform to challenge elected officials, to get out information necessary for the public. And I look forward to collaborating with you in the future. So I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying the kind words. I really appreciate it. I really believe in the power of independent media. And I think that there's a place for everybody. There's a place for legacy media, and there's a place for independent platforms just like this. And we can all support each other, and we all want the same thing. So I appreciate that. So how's it feel?
Absolutely.
How's it feel, Aftab or Mayor Aftab? How does it
Yeah.
feel? You went to bed last night as the mayor, you wake up this morning as the mayor. How does it feel?
It feels tremendous. I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity to lead. Grateful for this moment in time when we have so many challenges, whether it be the pandemic or violence or affordable housing. But the fierce shared belief that our best days are ahead of us. It hasn't really sunk in. I'll be honest with you. We've had just, important decision after important decision, starting with moving our event outdoors with 48 hours notice. But we've already hit the ground running with transitioning our city manager into leadership, working collaboratively with council on their agenda, putting together a professional transition team. So yeah, we've been busy at work, so there's not a whole lot of time to reflect, but hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be able to catch my breath.
Yeah, between jobs for anybody, whether it be the position you're in or just regular folks out here, to me, that's always a sweet spot. Like when you're leaving one job and you're going to a new job that you really want, that's always a great feeling. But then, at least for me, I remember like that feeling when I knew I was going to get my first gig in radio. I felt great about it. This is what I wanted. And then I was like, oh shit, now I have to actually do it. Right. Now the hard work begins, and it kind of hit me like, damn, I got to get to work. Is that how you're feeling?
I feel prepared for this job. I think this is a challenging time to be leading the city. COVID numbers are skyrocketing right now because of the Omicron variant. And so my focus, quite frankly, moving the swearing in outdoors, getting our arms around how quickly this thing is spreading through our community, has been really focused on COVID. But I've been leaning into our public health experts, working collaboratively with them to put together a plan to keep us safe. So I feel very prepared for the job, but it is a challenging job for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mayor Aftab Pureval is our guest. If you have questions, please line them up, and I'll try my best to try to get as many in. And we don't want to waste any time, so just make sure we, give some really good questions. So I appreciate it. Just put them in the chat, folks, and I'll try to get them in as much as possible. Well, the one thing, and I watch these kind of things, I look for consistency among candidates. Like I pay close attention to what candidates say at the beginning of their campaign, throughout their campaign, when they're talking to different audiences, if they're elected, what they say. And one thing I can say about you is that when you first hit the scene and said you were running for mayor, throughout all of the campaign events, at least the ones that I got a chance to see in virtually, and I tried to be up on everything. And then some of the first words that came out of your mouth when you took the podium yesterday, and I was there, was racial equity over and over again. Why is that so important to the future of Cincinnati, in your opinion? That's the first part. And then second part, what exactly does that mean? Like 4 years from now, 8 years from now, in terms of racial equity and moving the city forward, what is your vision for the city?
Yeah, when I really think about 8 years from now, if I'm lucky enough to be reelected, and the impact that I want to have had, the legacy that I want to have, the two things that I continue to come back to are, number one, making sure that we're growing our city, growing our tax base, growing our skyline, so we have the opportunities and the resources necessary to succeed. And the second thing that I hope to have an impact on is just quite frankly improving the lives of Black people. There's fancy ways of saying that. There's ways of tiptoeing around it, but it really just means, in my view, improving the lives of Black folks. And I think the way that we can do that together as a city and as city leaders is by focusing on ownership, Black ownership of homes, Black ownership of neighborhoods, and Black ownership of businesses. The city has a host of incentives and levers and tools it can use to incentivize incentivize economic activity. And two of the big ones are TIFs and tax abatements. And right now, the tax abatements, particularly in the residential context, are completely inequitable as it relates to race. A vast majority of those tax breaks are concentrated in the wealthiest communities in our city, which happen to be white predominantly. And so I want to take a look at the way that we are providing city funds via our TIFs or tax abatements, how we're doing grants, how we're doing investments into social services, into the arts, and really have a lens of racial equity. How are these dollars improving the lives of Black people? And specifically, are these dollars going to Black people? Are there Black people in leadership in these organizations? Are these businesses or subcontractors Black owned? Now, that won't be the only element in the analysis, but that will certainly be an element. The issues that I want to look at are wide and varied and run the full spectrum. But the two lenses by which I'll be looking at all issues are, number one, racial equity, and I've described that, but also number two, and this has a lot of intersectionality with racial equity, is climate. Black neighborhoods often have less access to good quality food, often have less access to good quality air and water. And so, climate and racial equity, I think, are the two challenges that we face in a broad term. And those are the lenses I'll be using to determine success or failure.
Again, newly elected or newly sworn in, should I say, Mayor Aftab Pureval is our guest. Now, we all know via the media that Mark Mallory, former mayor of Cincinnati, is on the transition team. And his time in office, he did things a little differently. It seemed to me as if, he had more of a global sort of presence. He spent a lot of time out of the city being an ambassador, which I thought was a good deal. And I'm wondering, what will your style be? Will you have a style kind of similar to Mark Mallory, where you're projecting the image of Cincinnati and the good things about the Cincinnati like an ambassador throughout the country? Or are you going to be more of a local, because we didn't see so much of that with John Cranley. He was more of a local mayor. What do you think your style is going to be?
I think my style will be unique to me, and it'll be a balance. We have real challenges here local that's going to require all of my attention and my focus. But by the same token, we've got a brand problem as Cincinnati. I've been speaking with business leaders, with community leaders throughout the city and throughout the region, and we just don't talk about our city very well. Nathan, you know as well as anybody, we've got real challenges. We continue to be segregated. We continue to be a tale of two cities, but we also have incredible opportunity, incredible success here. And I want to be able to tell our story effectively and passionately and persuasively. I want to be the brand ambassador for Cincinnati. And some of that will require getting on different stages throughout the country. But a lot of that needs to happen right here at home. We need to own our own brand first before we can export it to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world. So part of the work I'll be doing early on is trying to hammer home, what is Cincinnati's brand? For the fact that Cincinnati at P&G is the home of brand marketing. We literally invented this concept. The fact that we don't have a brand is frustrating, and it's preventing people from choosing Cincinnati as a destination. With this new remote work era, if you can work and live anywhere, I want you to choose Cincinnati. We're incredibly affordable in the national context. We've got incredible corporate partners, the third best children's hospital in the world, the best public high school in the state, world-class arts and parks, opportunity for folks who have small, diverse families to come here and to thrive. That's the story that I want to be talking about elsewhere, but also here in Cincinnati.
Again, newly sworn in mayor of Cincinnati, Aftab Pureval, is our guest. Today is his first full day on the job. So if you got questions, I'm sure I really appreciate your time, Aftab. I know your time is at an all-time high premium. So I really appreciate it. We want to take full advantage of it. More questions coming in, and this is a question that I got from the audience. So it's kind of switching gears here. So somebody wants to know what is going to be, your requirements. What are you looking for in a new police chief and also a new city
Yeah.
manager? And then what will be the role of the public? Will the public have input? In what form will that input be in?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's the two big decisions that we have to make early on are who the permanent city manager will be and who the police chief will be. I'm really proud of my team, but also grateful to City Manager Paula Boggs-Muthing, who has been so generous and supportive through this transition, who has been very professional as we accept her resignation and transition to interim City Manager John Kerp, who I have the utmost respect and admiration and confidence in. He spent 6 years as city solicitor. He knows the city inside and out, and he can be a solid leader in this interim period. The police chief and the city manager are the two probably most important leaders in our city, including our superintendent. And making sure we get this right is incredibly important. And one of the ways we get this right is by engaging with the community. I've already sat down with the FOP and also the Black United Front to talk through, what process and other stakeholders, frankly, to talk through what process they would like to see for the police chief. And it really mirrors the process for city manager. And that is going out into the community, whether it looks like focus groups or other community meetings. We're still hashing out those details, but going out to the community, understanding what the community wants, what qualifications and experiences the community wants, and then executing against that. I fully expect community members to be on the interview panel. I fully expect the candidates, the finalists, to be meeting with the community, with community stakeholders before a final decision is made. So, these positions are so important that that the city manager's determination is mine. The chief of police determination is the city manager's, but really these are community decisions, and the process will reflect that.
Right.
A lot of people are curious about the timing. We've got to do these two searches concurrently because Cincinnati can't wait. We can't have interim leadership for longer than is necessary. So I'm famously an impatient person, and so I'll be working to get this done as soon as possible.
So let's talk about the decision that's yours just a little bit more. So the decision is yours when it comes to the city manager. So I think there's some things that no matter who the mayor is, we could all take for granted. You're going to want a city manager that's going to be on board with your vision, obviously, somebody you think that can be competent. I mean, we get that. But just a little bit deeper than that, will you be looking for somebody who's had experience as a city manager already, right? Because there's a lot of advantages with somebody who's done the job in another city. But I can also see, some good things perhaps from having someone who maybe doesn't have as much experience, but they're hungry and they're smart and they're intelligent. Can you share right now what your feeling is? Are you looking for more experience? Are you looking for somebody who's more hungry and aggressive and up and comer? Can you share any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of a national search, to really understand what talent is out there, the best and the brightest. I'm looking for someone who is a professional. I'm not necessarily looking for someone who has been a city manager, although that certainly would be a benefit, but rather someone who, as you mentioned, shares my values, shares my priorities, is excited about my vision for moving Cincinnati forward. Someone who I have the utmost trust in, someone who I'm working hand in glove in. The relationship between the city manager and the mayor is special, and it's really unique in our system of government. And that relationship has to be strong in order to make sure that Cincinnati is working effectively. Obviously, elements of the analysis will also be representation, whether the candidate is diverse or not. As it relates to their age, that's not necessarily something that is important to me. I will say though that given the relative newness of the city council, it may be a benefit to have a city manager who has a little bit more experience. But again, that's not a requirement. So, the decision is really about balancing all of the needs of the city, comparing that to the resumes that we're getting, and also the X factor of who I click with the most and who I see as a great partner and teammate.
Absolutely. And as it relates to the new police chief, I think the big question will be, will it be somebody from inside the Cincinnati police force, or are we going to go outside the Cincinnati police force to get someone who's got an outside perspective? Can you speak about, do you have a feeling either or? I know these are difficult questions on some levels. Maybe you don't want to talk about it publicly, but can you speak about, do you have a feeling either way?
What I'm excited about is the national search. And the reason that excites me is because I think we've got some exciting internal candidates, but I've already heard about some very exciting external candidates as well. And so I think the national search, again, will be the best possible process to bring the community together, to bring law enforcement together in order to find the right leader for Cincinnati. I am coming into this process completely open-minded. I do not have a preference as of right now, whether the person should be internal or external. This process will be fair, it will be transparent, and will be focused on one thing, and that is finding the best person to lead us into the next 4 or 8 years.
Yeah, I heard you speak, and I didn't realize this, but you've only been in politics 5 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, right.
So you go from not being in politics to now being the mayor of Cincinnati with an overwhelming majority. I mean, that's like a only in America type scenario.
Yeah, I mean, to put give you some other dates. My family never touched foot in the United States until 1980. I moved to Cincinnati for the last time in 2012. I ran for my first office in 2016, and 5 years later, I'm mayor. That is a fast timeline. That's warp speed for Cincinnati.
Yeah, it is.
But I think that story is a Cincinnati story. I think despite the perception of Cincinnati, what I'm really excited about is our election has proven that no matter what you look like or where you're from, Cincinnati is a place where you can achieve your dream, and that certainly happened for me.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I think we all want the best for the city that we live in, 100%. Speaking of which, I've got another question for the audience, and I'll just give it to you the way it was given to me, and you can do what you want with it. But somebody wants to know, and here's the question: ask Aftab, Mayor Aftab, what is he going to do about slumlords? Now, that may be a fair way of describing folks or not, but that's the way the question came to me. But I think it just speaks to housing and the fact that there's folks who believe that there's been some predatory sort of stuff going on, people kind of taking advantage of the current situation. I know you've spoken about this throughout the campaign. Now you're the mayor. What can we expect on that front?
Yeah, what I'm really proud of is through the campaign, I put forth very specific policy proposals on what I would do if elected. And I asked the audience, and specifically that person who asked the question, to take a look at my comprehensive affordable housing plan, which is on my website. There's an entire section there where we talk about getting very aggressive on out-of-town landlords who have vacant or blighted buildings, who are engaging with their tenants in predatory ways. I want to make it very clear to everyone in the city and everyone around the country that if you are an irresponsible landlord, Cincinnati is going to be a very, very unwelcoming place for you. And that means, going in and doing inspections. That means providing civil fines. That means, in some ways, in extreme cases, trying to take over the property. We have real challenges in Cincinnati as it relates to this, particularly in our Black communities. You see a lot of out-of-town conglomerates buying up these large buildings and then not treating their tenants with respect and dignity. And I'll do everything in my power in the mayor's office and here at City Hall to right that wrong.
I know you spoke a lot about this, and this was a big issue with some people during the campaign, and that's the C word, not for Cincinnati, but for corruption, because we know about the things that have happened. And in some levels, it's been embarrassing for the city. So what should we expect from your administration now? There were a couple things that were on the ballot. They didn't really go over too well. They were rejected by voters. Are we going to see, what are we going to see when it comes to corruption? Like, does that remain a big issue for you? Do you believe that yourself and the new council have to earn back the trust of the voters? How do you feel about that? Are we going to see any bills, any legislation around that?
It is a big issue. Unfortunately, the corruption we've seen here in Cincinnati is mirrored in the corruption we've seen in Columbus, is mirrored in the corruption we've seen in DC. So I can understand why citizens have a very low opinion of their elected leaders. I can understand that. And yes, it is on myself, it is on City Council to be transparent, to work collaboratively, and to hold ourselves to the highest possible standard. For me, it really comes down to a lot of the corruption we've seen in Cincinnati has been around development. City council members and other elected officials involving themselves in development deals, negotiating the specifics of those deals, getting into the horse trading in those deals, and really undermining the professionals that work here in City Hall who are tasked with executing on those deals. And so it'll be my approach to have a bright red line between the professionals and the politicians. And we will hold politicians accountable who insinuate themselves and meddle in those development deals. Now, we're not always going to agree with those professionals, but when we disagree, it's going to be open and transparent. We're going to put an end to any of these backroom deals.
Yeah, because as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aftab, there's nothing really has changed, since what happened on city council. Like, as we sit here right now, a member of city council can go to lunch today with a developer, and that developer can pitch an idea to a council person. That developer can even decide, you know what, you're going to be running for re-election in 2 years. I'm gonna put a little bit of money on your coffers right there. And that's all completely legal. And is it that the proper role of a council person? Or you believe the council person should have no contact with developers who may have a deal before city council?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, I think it's important for city council members to be out in the community, to be speaking with various stakeholders. There are, by and large, the developers in our community are good, ethical people who want to help grow the city. And so I don't have any issue with city council members meeting with or engaging with or talking with developers. What I have an issue with is any politician negotiating the deals of the specifics of development deals, which really undermines the process for how those developments should work through City Hall, and really undermines the transparency of that. And so that's the process that I'm hoping to create. And one of the specific ways we can do that is by addressing one of the recommendations from the corruption task force that was created by Councilmember David Mann and Mayor Cranley, which was a recommendation to create a code of conduct for elected officials in City Hall. That'll be something that I'd like to work collaboratively with council in order to have very bright line rules about what is and what is not appropriate.
Speaking of working with city council, it appears that you're in the catbird seat, so to speak. I mean, you've got an overwhelming majority, and it seems like it's genuine from afar, that there's a genuine respect, at the very least, if not affection, for many of the members of city council. A lot of them are Democrats. What can we expect? What's going to be the first sort of policy or issues that we can expect from the council in your new term?
Yeah, the first thing that is on the agenda actually for today, there are two things actually. Number one is the transition from City Manager Paula Boggs-Muthing to Interim City Manager John Kerp. And that this transition has been without drama, has been professional, has been transparent. has been effective, frankly. I'm really proud of the fact that I'm the first mayor-elect to put together a professional transition team. And I think the results speak for themselves. We've been able to roll out Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney as our vice mayor. She achieved history by getting the most votes in the election. We were able to roll out our city council committees and structure our government that reflects our 4 priorities. And we were able to elect Victoria Parks as our president pro tem for council. And the second thing that I'll be doing today is announcing Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney, our vice mayor, as my pick to be on the planning commission. You know, a lot of the governing that happens is actually done by these volunteer commissions and committees that the mayor has appointment power to. And so in addition to the policies and the legislation and initiatives that I'll be enacting, you can also expect that my appointees to these boards and commissions will reflect my priorities. And as I mentioned, they're growing the city and racial equity. And Vice Mayor Kearney is a leader on both of those issues. And I think she's a great pick for the Planning Commission, which has a lot of authority as it relates to growing our city.
Just a couple more questions, Aftab, if you got the time, and I know you got to go on. I really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you coming on today. Somebody wants to know, just from the audience, what is Mayor Pureval's plan for resolving pre-existing legal issues that citizens have with the city? Is that something that falls into the mayor's lap?
It does. It does, and that is a city manager issue working with the city solicitor. I can, without knowing the specifics of the various legal issues, what I can say though is that it is a high priority of mine. If you look at my public safety plan, to really dig into the prosecutor's office here in the city and reevaluate the ways that we are using our discretion about whether to prosecute or not. Reevaluate the ways that we are citing to court for minor nonviolent infractions rather than arresting first. Looking at ways we can encourage more diversion programs, both pre-arrest and pre-charge, so we have fewer people interacting with our justice system. There's a whole host of reforms that can happen at the city prosecutor's office, and I'm very excited to start working on those issues.
And then last question, Aftab. This is the first day of your administration. And I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about what you're going to do. I'm optimistic about the new council. I take a wait and see approach. You know, people have to learn their job and figure out their rhythms and figure out how to do what they're doing. But I'm encouraged. I'm optimistic about what I see right now. But I'm generally an optimistic guy. But my question is, how should we, the voters, judge the success of your first term, in your opinion? I mean, 4 years from now, we're looking back over the last 3-4 years. In your opinion, how should we be able to judge whether this was successful or not?
It's a good question. You know, my top priority throughout the campaign and now that I'm in office, you know, there'll be fire drills that come and go. But my top priority, my North Star, continues to be growing our city, making our city a destination globally, a destination particularly for young, diverse families. And if we can continue to grow our city, continue to have economic dynamism, then I'm confident we can address all of the other challenges that we face. So that's my top priority, and that's the issue that I hope to be judged on and judged favorably.
Okay, appreciate that. This might be one last. This is Maurice is saying that he didn't get his question in. I'm trying to get as many. I don't see the question, Maurice. I'm cycling back right now. Just give me 1 second, Mayor.
Yeah, no problem.
Quick, because I told people to leave their questions. I don't see the question, Maurice. I went back like nearly to the beginning of it. I don't see the question, brother. If you can send it real quick, and I mean, you got like 10 seconds, then maybe I can get it in before we let the mayor go. I don't want to hang on with bad air. Well, maybe he does.
Hey, Nathan, I'll vamp for a little while here. I've been getting a lot of questions about how people should refer to me, and I think it's going to be easier for everybody just to refer to me as Mayor Aftab. So that would be my preference, but you know, whatever works. I'm not too hung up on it.
Okay. So one last question, Nathan. What's the benchmark for the growth? What's the benchmark? You said for growing Cincinnati. Somebody wants to know, what exactly is that benchmark? Is it too easy for you to tell us that, or can you share that with us now?
No, I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, there's a number of benchmarks for growth, but the ones that I'm looking at are, number one, population. Are we growing our community? Number two, how many businesses are we creating? and how many of those businesses are Black owned? Number three, how many homes are we creating? How many homeowners are we creating? And how many homeowners are Black owned? So again, even when I talk about growth, I'm looking at that issue through the lens of racial equity.
I understand. So what can the city do about home ownership? Is there anything that the city can do specifically to grow Black home ownership in a way that isn't racist?
Yeah, I would go back to our tax abatement program. I think probably the biggest economic incentive that the city has is abating property taxes for up to 15 years. And if we can start, if maybe we look at census tract, if we can start finding objective ways to include location in our decision analysis and matrix, specifically where Black people live, that's an incredible way to catalyze home ownership and make it more affordable for working class communities to own their own homes.
Mm-hmm. How do we grow Black entrepreneurship? Like, I know you've got wonderful folks out here like Mortar. They're doing excellent work. They're killing it. A real resource for our community. How can a city or a mayor or a body like city council, how can they grow entrepreneurship? Do we fund more programs like Mortar? Or are there other nonprofits out there doing that kind of work and we fund them so they can increase their reach? Or are there other ways to increase entrepreneurship in the city?
Yeah. So I think there's direct ways to do that, and you mentioned a few. Mortar is doing incredible work for this, but so isn't the Minority Business Accelerator at the Chamber, the African American Chamber of Commerce, and also the Urban League does some great work around that. So continuing to fund those resources, but the city just doesn't have enough resources to provide the capital necessary to catalyze that kind of growth and entrepreneurship. And so what it really means is leveraging the other tool in my bag, which is that of convener. The mayor, I'm finding, gets their phone calls returned. And when the mayor asks you to serve and work on a committee, people say yes. So working with our local banks to convene people together in order to make sure that Black entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general have access to capital, and that our business community understands that it's a priority from the mayor's office, I think can be very persuasive. Nathan, I really appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, Mayor Aftab. Thank you for your time.
All right, take care.
Yeah, wish you the best. That's Mayor Aftab Pureval. Appreciate his time this morning. For me, we got 34 minutes. Maurice, I went back, bro. Like I said, I'm a man of my word. I would not ask you to share a question and then not put an effort in to get it in, but I didn't see your question, or I definitely would have put it out there. I try to mix in. I think I got most of the questions I got from the audience. I try to mix it in. Again, I'm not trying to waste your time, but I ask you to take the time to type. I'm going to respect it. I'm going to try to respect it. And I'm not promising to get everyone in, but I'll try, most certainly, especially when it makes sense and it's a question I think that needs to be asked. I mean, ultimately, I have to make that decision. So I wasn't trying to overlook your question at all, brother, on purpose. I just didn't see it and I missed it, and that's just on me. But I did try to take the time. Somebody says, Deborah Nesbitt writes, I love how he says Black people does not stutter, no equivocation. That's fresh and new for the Cincinnati. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to take a wait and see approach, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about, the lead, where they're going to lead. I'm optimistic about the current makeup of council. I like the fact that they got a super majority. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think now they can do something with it. And I was at the event yesterday, and each and every one of them that stood up and said something, they all basically said, let's get to work. I like that. Let's get to work. Talk time is over with. Now you said all this stuff, you got elected, get to work and put it in place. But what I will say is that they cannot do it alone. They cannot do it alone. City council cannot do it alone. Aftab Pureval cannot do it alone. So if you got good ideas, or you're out here in the community doing something, work with them. Hit them up. Send them a message. Send them an email. I got an idea. Maybe you follow up. Maybe go up to council like when they have public hearings and you share your opinion. I mean, I think the current council and the current mayor needs to be challenged like everybody else. I remain the same on that. Even though I'm optimistic, they might need to be pushed. That's the way I think the system works. But what we can't do is just, and not suggesting that anybody in this audience does this, but what we can't do is just complain and bellyache without no action behind it. That's not what time it is in 2022. So, we've got this tremendous opportunity with this super majority. Let's see what they do. Let's help them and push them in the right direction. I feel the same way about, the school board. Let's help them, let's push them in the right direction, or in a direction that you feel is the right direction based upon hopefully facts. But I'll say again, I think today we wake up and the city looks better because John Crowley's no longer the mayor and Aftab is. And I didn't want to ask any, I wasn't trying to pit Aftab versus Cranley. There's no need to do all of that. I'm not trying to do that and waste my time with them. But me personally, I think we wake up today and we look better. We look better. We look much better than we did yesterday, the day before that. That's just my personal viewpoint. I'm still struggling to figure out what John actually did. The only question I didn't ask Aftab was about the streetcar. It's the only question I didn't ask him, and we can get deeper with affordable housing, but hopefully, and I say hopefully, we'll have a chance to speak with him and also the other members of city council who I plan to speak with hopefully in the next few weeks as well about what their plans are. And keep in mind, these people are new to these jobs. They new. Some of these folks have never been in political office before, so they're gonna have to learn. Pardon me, they're gonna have to learn. They're gonna learn on the job. So let's give them, even with the school board, let's give them a little bit of time to learn, to figure out the job. If I was in that position, I would want that. So let's give them some time to learn and grow, even make mistakes and say dumb-ish, but let's see what the whole totality of what they have to bring to the table is, before we start chopping them up. And let's see. But what'd you think about Aftab, Mayor Aftab, and what he had to say? Pamela writes, Aftab makes me want to move to Cincy. Now, that I think he would like that. I think he would like that because from what he just said, he wants, one of the benchmarks is the growth of the city, and I get it. I think that Cincinnati has a lot to offer. We have a lot to offer. I think Cincinnati has the potential to be a crown jewel of the United States, a destination spot for various reasons. And what I will say is that, and I've told you before, I used to do a little bit of Ubering in the city. Even when I was doing this show online, I got to do whatever I got to do for my family, I'm willing to do. I have no shame in my game at all. But in doing so, I really liked it. I got a chance to meet a lot of different people. And what I learned is that people love Cincinnati. People that are not born in Cincinnati and they come here like for business or for whatever reason, for college, they absolutely love this city. And I ain't talking about just a little bit. I'm talking about they love them some Cincinnati. And just hearing people talk about the city, you can be jaded, you know what I'm saying? Especially being melanated. You can be very jaded about Cincinnati because you know all the bones and where the bodies are and all the negativity and everything that went wrong. So sometimes you can miss the beauty that's in front of you. And so just hearing these conversations from people from outside the city talk so glowingly about Cincinnati and their experiences here, it made me start to look at the city and yeah, I mean, we got a lot of great things going for us. We just got some shit that we got to deal with. We got a few people that need to be kicked out of their office and replaced by people with a new mentality. And we got to make a few more investments here and there. And we definitely got to elevate the Black and brown communities here. Most definitely. Cincinnati will never become what we all want Cincinnati to become. As long as that we have these huge disparities in this city, it is never going to happen. We're never going to reach our apex. We'll always be wanting for more unless we deal with that. And that's why I like when I hear the brother keep saying he keep talking about racial equity over and over and over again. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe he sees it too. But again, in 2 weeks from now, we could be going at his neck. So you never can tell about these things, right? You never can tell. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. It's Kev on the shelf. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. There's a little bit of noise where I'm at. I apologize. So first off, I want to say, Mayor Aftab, that was a good interview right there. Need some specifics on them benchmarks. Just a benchmark means that we know what it currently is, and we know what you want to get it to. Hopefully, he's listening and he hears that. But I'm sure he really does. So, and then again, congratulations on the win. The one thing I want to make sure we stay focused on is what you just mentioned. It's up to us to make sure that we are joining in the fight, right? You can't ask for stuff and then ask for somebody else do all the work for you. Usually that doesn't work out well, right? So, joining community councils, NAACP, man, the various groups throughout the city that do the volunteer work. Nobody ever gets enough kudos for the work that they do. I know a lot of the people that do that work, and they're not getting paid. They just love the city enough that they want to see good things happen. But we also need to make sure that we keep the pressure on as a community to make sure that equity includes input. Because a lot of times we got people that are telling us what they want to do for us. And I've said it before, it seems more like what you're going to do to us. If you really want to do what the people think they need, then you got to ask the people what they need and do that, right? So, but yeah, great interview, Nate. I really appreciate that. I found my person that I'm going to give help to. Brother of mine wants to be a truck driver apparently, and so I told him I'll match him on. You need some funds in order for him to go, so I'm gonna do a matching campaign with him. He shows me how much he's going to put away in order to go, and I'm going to match it dollar for dollar. And then finally, man, it's time for me also to do my annual giving campaign. So it's in the comments, but please provide the Cash App or other information so that I can do my annual give. I don't do the monthly thing because all the professionals, the people that in the know, whatever, they're always talking about, are you paying those monthly dues? And, the ones that you don't use, are you, say this is one that I wouldn't use anyway, but I just do a lump sum. So if you could provide that to me, I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Sure will.
Great show.
Thank you so much, man. That's Kev on the cell. Appreciate you. Him and Aftab. Appreciate you. So let me give you a heads up. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to catch up with the president of the school board, Ben Lindy, either tomorrow or Friday. When I confirm, I'll put it in the friends page and put it online so you know. But tomorrow, we're scheduled to speak with this brother right here. His name is Alex Spencer. He's the owner of Alex Spencer Cigars. And I'm hoping he'll talk about his journey of entrepreneurship in the cigar industry. The brother was kind of working with media companies and said, you know what, this ain't working. I'm trying to get to the top. I ain't getting there fast enough. So he made a pivot into the cigar industry. You heard about this? And he's got a cigar named after a 14th century African king, Mansa Musa, which, in a lot of YouTube channels is put out there as one of the richest man who ever lived, Mansa Musa. That's the name of his cigar. That's a dope ass name for a cigar. And you can purchase it locally. We'll talk more about it. It's called the Mansa. That's the name of his first cigar. He started Alex Spencer Reserve Boutique Cigar Company from his home right here in Madisonville in Cincinnati. That's a tremendous story. We got to talk to this brother. So that's tomorrow, I believe, at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. All right. So get ready for that. So looking forward to that. And with that, family, I got to make a move. Have an excellent rest of your day. Before we roll out, I want to remind you that our friends over at Renew Community Church, they do a Sunday morning masterclass series. It's all video. You can tap in on Facebook and YouTube. I'll tell you well in just a second. If you go to their website, renewcommunitychurch.org, you can also sign up for a free ebook and perhaps even personal coaching. You ever had a personal coach? It might work for you. Try something new in 2022. This week's topic for the masterclass series: learn how to feel good and attract money, health, new relationships, job contracts, and business opportunities in 2022. You can tap in on YouTube at Renew Community Church live stream. And if you're more, into Facebook, tap in at facebook.com/CINCI Renew. That's Cincy Renew. All right. And with that, family, I got to make a move. Have an excellent rest of your day. I'll be back and hopefully better than ever with you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 7 a.m. Take care of yourself, family. And until next time, I'm Nathan Ivy, and I'm out.